The building collapses. Panic spreads as people scream for help, but someone else already calling it in. His life is over. Misfortune ruined him, and even rebirth wanted to change his fate. Happiness is impossible. He just wanted a normal life. The maid tells Lyra the boy is here. From her bed, the girl beams. They've finally met her sweet Zen belt. Hero reborn as a baby. Kneeling, he wonders why he's still alive as someone creeps up behind him. The stranger reveals he's a guide between worlds, praising the man for surviving a brutal life with honor. Crushed by an iron beam, he's reborn into a new body with OP perks. He's finally special. He keeps his memories, knows the language, and gets reincarnated soul protection. The hero stalls. It's way too much info to process. Finally, the ultimate gift and the most useful, the evaluated eye skill. His custom eye evaluates everything, hiding nothing. The stranger says Don to be shy, and he thanks him, declaring the hero's rebirth. The world lottery appears. Things just got weirder, but he accepts his fate. Bring it on. A small orb tumbles from the car. She was golden. The guide promised him luck, but he didn't understand and had zero time to ask. A snap sends the hero plunging into a tunnel. The guide wishes him luck, his radiant smile the last thing he sees. Reborn as a baby in Lyra's arms, he stares intently. She wonders if he recognizes her, and he mentally confirms it. Gilbert calls the child beautiful, but the maid warns him to stop scaring the kid like he did this morning. He says he knows. He's bursting with curiosity, but he's paralyzed and mute, and their clothes are totally alien. With unique powers confirmed in this world, the hero activates his evaluation eye to test it out. He tries to cast a spell, but since he can speak, he uses mental evaluation instead. Windows flash before the baby. He's got a game-style status window. He's still confused, but he knows he needs those attributes. He spots 200 luck is that high. As a past life loser, he has no clue. His other stats are garbage, magic 100, while defense, strength. 2 kids, Mariana and Thea Bold. The maid warns them to stay quiet while Zenbelt sleeps. Mariana's waited forever for this, and after Theo promises to be careful, Mom lets them upstairs. She falls for his cuteness again, while he notes the kid's silver hair and purple eyes match his mother's. Zenbeld tells them to stop staring. He grabs Theo's hand, shocking the blushing boy. Mariana demands her turn, while the maid hisses. Her sister takes over, Theo agrees, and Zika becomes Mariana's new doll. She sits him with her toys, but the boy reminds them Zika's still a guy. Their energy was insane. He knew they'd take him down more than once. 28. Mariana apologizes for the noise, promising her brother they'll make endless family memories once he's grown. She confesses her love, thanking Zeke for being born. Lyra and Gilbert watch the kids bond, and Zeke feels lucky to have a new family. He's stoked to be here. She says tomorrow's the awakening, and Willie's the reason he's here, but our hero is clueless. Gilbert's losing it, but Lyra says Willie's fine. Mariana wants to see Uncle Williball, but the O remembers he's headed far away. Willibald's a tireless night with the evaluation eye. Theo asks, will Zeke fail to awaken and end up just like Gert? Zeke's mom reveals Gert is his brother at the academy. Awakening is mandatory for nobles. He'll master magic or grind martial arts if he lacks talent. Theo panics. A top-tier attribute means Zeke gets snatched just like Gert was at 5. No time for home. Those snitching evaluators already reported him. Gilbert pats his gifted son, apologizing for failing him before. This time, he won to fail. He tells her to stay confident. Elites are scouted at birth, and he's max level. He needs a plan, or he'll be alone again. Just as life got good, it fell apart. Now he's a baby with no clue what to do. Night falls. With a maid nearby, Zeklin Bede plots to hide his attributes. He needs them gone by tomorrow, but the academy will turn him into a lab rat. He loves his life here and begs God for help. A figure appears, asking if Zik called Zik S terrified. He asks who he is. The stranger replies, "The kid triggered the help option, so he's here." He hasn't mastered his evaluation eye yet. It reveals every ability instantly, so the creature warns him to hide his status. He's got status concealment, but he hasn't mastered it yet. He's completely clueless. Assistant says train skills tomorrow, but the hero's already got 1,000 reincarnation blessing points. He activates status hide. The hero agrees, but the assistant warns 1,000 points is a massive price to pay for the future. The hero was out of options. Family comes first. He refuses to lose them. The beast got the message. The residents welcome Willibald back as he declares he's finally home. Gilbert saw his brother was still a hit. They find Lyra and Beltra inside Willie notes. It's been way too long. She's glad he's healthy, and he admires his daughter-in-law's beauty. Gilbert barks his name, but Willie tells him to drop the jealousy he just said hi. Lyra's thrilled Willie congratulates her on the birth, saying he had to stop by. Willie Bolt scoops up Zinbolt, introducing himself as his uncle and calling the boy handsome like his mother. Lyra agrees Zeke definitely takes after her. He told the boy not to be scared, promised it wouldn't hurt, and activated his evaluation eye. Attribute windows popped up. Zika awaits judgment. Gilbert asks about the boy's elements, but Willie and the father confirm he lacks any high-tier attributes. Zeke's relieved. He leaves some bait for show, but stashes the high-level gear. Willie spots the resemblance to his daughter-in-law. Gilbert hugs his wife, thanking God for their joy, while Zeke smirks, knowing his hidden skills made this miracle happen. Willie confirms the magic is stable. Siegbelt can finally sleep easy way better than his past life. The baby starts glowing, and Gilbert asks his brother what's happening. He calls their son Lucky. Zeke's face pales in horror. Did he notice something? He's seen those godlike wings blessed by the gods. His magic is overwhelming, and the hero knows he's in deep trouble. Uncle says it's a problem. Report it. The Ministry of Magic won't ignore this. Zeke miscalculated, but he's not giving up yet. Willibald tells his brother their kid is special, packing massive magic that's already surpassed his birth strength. High-level kid. Zeke's luck is trash. Is this the end? Willie reveals the boss gave them a special child, a rare one, with the legendary potential to become a god. The man suggests the academy, but Gilbert refuses. Zeke knows he's too attached, and Lyra jumps in to shut it down. She's overjoyed her son is. God blessed, her husband watches in awe as she envisions her miracle baby becoming a powerhouse. She grabs his hand, smiles, and asks him to protect Zeke, leaving him stunned. Dead serious, he vowed to protect their little Zikbolt. Try. The only risk was declaring the baby's power. Willie agreed they had to keep his magic hidden. Final selection, the only issue was declaring the baby. They need a cover story for his awakening and identity. Gilbert asks if he can hide his mana, but his brother warns him, you can demask it all, so just keep your she. It's the perfect plan to hide him from the government. Everyone trusts him, and Gilbert's sure it'll work. The baby won't be tested, so they found a fix finally needed. The hero is stunned by the feeling. Lyra identifies Zeku Stangwithar. Willie confirms now it's a secret for 5. Gilbert's confused. Why 5 people when there's only 3? Willa turns and calls out to the door. Mariana and Thea Bald appear at the door, shocking Gilbert they'd been there the whole time. Willie asks how long they've been listening and scolds them for spying on adult talk. Mariana and Theo both take the blame for spying. Willie sees them covering for each other and asks if they're just worried about Zeke. Mariana apologizes, claiming they were just scared Zeke would be taken. Mom scolds them anyway. Fear is no excuse for acting out. She's glad they care. Father and Willie will protect him, and the siblings are happy. Zeke's grateful for his family, but Willie cuts in, ordering the girls to keep what happened a total secret. Obey or face punishment. He's dead serious. The girls agreed in horror, but the hero didn't see why this guy was so scary. Willie tells his brother his kids keep their word, and Father confirms it. He praised his kids. Then the uncle revealed the MC's powers to the crowd, stopping the government from taking him. He's clueless, but his life is incredibly lucky. Months later, Zeke's past life loser days are over. He's finally happy, and the creature agrees. He's lucky his past memories kept him home, but with a negative 444 balance, Zeke says it's all a setup. Reborn as an elite after a fatal accident, he's now trapped between life and death and totally confused. He's God's chosen, no mistake. Zeke mocks the creature's old news, knowing he was special all along and that the whole world would be his enemy. The beast agrees, and the kid tells him to stop yelling. He asks about yesterday's secret, but the assistant stays silent. He knows he's getting nothing. The beast asks about the massive collection. The hero says they read just beginner spellbooks. Shocked by his interest, the maid hands the kid spellbooks, and he masters them instantly. Time to master magic. After the last arc, our hero's already a natural. Magic has 12 attributes: high-tier flame, thunder, ice, light, and oblivion, low-tier fire, wind, earth, water, sun, and darkness you need. Combined, they grant unique powers. It's a total fairy tale world. No match, no magic, perfect alignment triggers the spell. Every mage gets a unique power, beginner level light. Attribute. Built to light the dark prep by moonlight once, fireflies led the way. Zeke lights the room. He once mistook this for magic, but his past life knowledge makes it a powerful asset. Hyped to study, he dives into magic, pushing his limits for a score as bright as the sun. Blinding magic rips through the building. He succeeded, but lost his sight. Next time, they better be careful. He's dying for answers. Gilbert enters, asking why the light's on. He spots Zeke and demands to know why the kid's there. The maid checks on Lear, who says she's better. Staring at a photo, she admits she misses Gert. Gilbert bursts in, ecstatic to tell his wife Zickbolt is finally standing. Ignoring the maid's scolding, Gilbert excitedly shows Lyra their son is finally standing, and she's blown away. Zequist panics, but magic saves him. His dad says standing is normal. Gilbert sees Zeke's ready to go solo, but the hero shuts him down. He's still way too young. He can upset his mom. No choice left, he heads to her bed. Struggling with his awkward body, the hero forces a step as his mother cheers for her baby boy. Gilbert lifts the boy, stunned. Z can walk. He's a prodigy, but Z silently begs him to stop. He only did it for Gilbert, but now his neck is about to snap. Butler Hans appears and grills Gilbert for slacking off. Hans orders him back to the office. The man mentions his kid's first steps, but Hans insists, and the father caves. Lyra orders her husband to ditch Zeke and get to work. Hans fumes that the boss finished the job before they bailed, while Gilbert blames the sudden chaos. Lyra asks Anna to bring Zeke a book, and she's already got some ready. Zeke vows to grow up and master magic so he's never this helpless again. Mom sees he's exhausted and sends him to bed. He listens. Lyra strokes her son's head, noting he's almost 1. He'll grow into a man soon, and she's just happy he's with her. She's thrilled, but the hero notices Mom's acting weird today. Lyra wants her son free from the law. He'll face hell, but she knows he'll survive. He's her special boy, destined to be the strongest and bravest. His mother wept, vowing to support his dreams. but Zeke couldn't understand her tears. She hugged her son, begging him to be happy. She apologized, her voice breaking. Lyra's creature is gone. Anna drops her book and screams her mistress's name. She rushed to the bed, begging the lady to wake up. A student gets a letter from his dad at the academy. He tells the messenger to be quiet, but the man insists the news is urgent. His mom S dead, and the kid S frozen in shock. Rain pours at the funeral. Zeke watches his mother's coffin from his father's arms while Gret stares at his brother with tearful rage. Gilbert and his brothers head down the hall, reeling from the sudden news. Even the short-haired man admits he's stunned. Willie tells his brother to rest, but he insists he's fine. Willie cuts deep, asking if he slept a single night since his wife died. Gilbert's look said everything. He told his brothers. His kids' safety was his only priority. Anna sits with the kids while Mariana sobs. Zeke lost his beautiful mother at birth, never realizing she was sick. If he'd used his judging eye, he could have diagnosed and saved her instantly. The hero wept, cursing his own uselessness. Theo bolts. Alberto questions him, but she says Gert's coming and tells Theo to go see his beloved mother. Gert strides down the hall, the maid scrambling to keep up. Theo's thrilled to see her brother, but he snaps there's no time for that. He burst in, weapon raised against his brother, certain Zequist was behind it all. Zik's in Anna's arms, and the hero has no clue what's happening to his brother. He couldn't explain the hate Gert strikes with thunderbolts. Anna shields Zeke, leaving Mariana stunned. Uncle rushes to stop the herb while Mariana begs for help. Theo demands healing magic and summons Uncle and Dad. Kurt demands to know why his uncle is blocking him. He blames Siegbelt for his mom's death, but his uncle reveals she actually died, giving birth to Kurt. Zeke is innocent. Gert ignores Alberto's lies and keeps firing arrows. Willie steps in, stopping Alberto and ordering Gert back to the glass wall. Willie liked the reaction Gilbert burst in, demanding answers. Willibald heals Anna and Zeke. The boy's safe, and he's relieved. He praises Mariana and Theo, then Gilbert checks on Anna and Zeke. His brother says they're fine, just a minor wound. Willowbeld isolates Gert to save Zeke's life. The poor kid's already been through hell. Uncle gave the kids a choice leave or stay. Mariana stayed. Anna apologizes for her mistake, but Willie orders her to rest her injuries. She brushes it off. The young master's safety is all that matters. Gert's got their attention, and he's about to blow. Mariana demands answers. Why do this Zika's just an innocent kid? He calls her insane, but she asks if a baby could hurt its mother, telling Gert to chill. Unfazed, the boy swore to take Zeke's life. Desperate, Mariana begs her father to save Zeke from Gert. She'll protect Zeke, even against her own brother, and demands her father do the same. Willie hated the tragic sight and asked his brother S take. Gert glared at them in pure fury. The boy was born a fan favorite, but he's always been an outcast just like his mother. Siegbelt stole his mother's love and called him a monster. Gert will never forgive him. Zeke wakes up Mariana and Theo tackle him in a hug, desperate with worry. Willie checks on Zeke. He's fine, but remembers Gert's arrival, his mother's funeral, and a thick aura of hatred. He looked ready to kill, his gaze absolutely chilling. Theo and Mariana apologized for being too late to protect him. Uncle inspects the boy and bans Gert. Zeke knows he'd be dead without Uncle, and Mariana vows it'll never happen again. Willie tells his niece to sleep. She's drained from healing her brother, and Theo needs rest too. Theo clears Zeke's name. Willie thanks the kids for the rescue, vowing to protect Zeke's childhood so he only has happy memories. Willie said he'd try. Zeke felt strangely helpless. Uncle told the kids to rest, but Theo insisted on staying with Zeke. As the kids slept, Willie Bald sat brooding until his brother interrupted. Gilbert enters. Willie asks about Kurt, but he won't listen. He's obsessed with Zeke. Uncle gets it, but Gilbert's lost. He never expected Gert to snap. Willie, Bald agrees the guy's a disaster who even tried to kill his own brother. The academy is suspicious. Gilbert agrees Gert's been acting weird since he started. They're teaching forbidden secrets and banning parents for a reason. Father moves to end this now, but collapses at the door, his strength spent. Willie tells his brother to rest. Now he'll look after the kids. He's livid and demands answers. He apologizes to his brother. Willibald stands on the roof, calling it all a mess. His brother's weak, and he's lost. He confidently claims he's got this. They picked the wrong targets and they'll regret it. This pain is just fuel to make them stronger. Theo, Marie, Alberto, Gilbert, the family, and even Zeke have all been through hell. Everything changed. The hero mastered every magic combo, maxing out his strength and wits to get results and make Mom proud. This hero's power is guaranteed. 4 years later, a voice stops Theo in the hall. He turns, asking what happened. 5-year-old Zickball begged to go with his brother. Zeke begs Theo to take him along, leaving his brother stunned. Zeke refuses to quit, revealing he knows Theo's guild secret before heading to train, leaving his brother stunned. He apologizes to his brother, but Evaluation Eye reveals the truth. Theo's a brand new F-rank rookie. Zek begs to join him again, but his brother refuses. He's still too young. Zek sparks his magic, declaring he's ready to fight. Theo's shocked Z mastered high-level magic so young, but Z says he just practiced at home. He studied magic to get strong, but his level 1T budge. He remembers trying magic. He gave it everything, but failed. Was he doing it wrong? The assistant says his level S too low. He wasting energy instead of turning it into magic. He's still developing, but his eye works. He sees a level icon and must slay monsters to rank up. It's the only way to get stronger. He has to fight. Theo says growth requires battle, but he lacks the experience to level up. He doesn't get Zeke's impatience. He just wants to get stronger. She's too weak to protect anyone. Remembering Gert leaving him behind, Theo vows to get stronger. The boy tells Hans to prep the carriage they're leaving together. Zick thanked his brother, thrilled. He warned this was a one-time deal and ordered him to stay close. The hero obeyed. On the boat, Theo warns the team the forest is crawling with monsters and they're hunting lethal white rabbits. These beasts are tough to kill, so Zeke needs to stay close when it's just practice with weak monsters, but they're still banking on luck. Mariana refuses to let Theo leave ever since his injury. She's been glued to him. Zeke calls it care, but it's straight up overprotection. Zick's cool with it. He loves his sister just like his brother. Theo thanks the boy but warns him, stay close, or Marie kills you. Theo arrives and asks Hans for a secret evening pickup. Hans warns their father should know, but Theo promises to tell him later. Watching the carriage leave, Theo tells his brother it's time to meet Nikolai, his most trusted friend, and reaches out his hand. Zeke wanted to hold hands like a big brother. Theo takes it, flashing back to when little Zeke II did the same. Smiling, she tells the hero he's protected today. He just needs to trust him. Past the fountain and waterfall bridge, Zeke finally throws open the gates. He reported the location a white forest. Zeke stared, jaw dropped. The boy's stunned, but Theobald explains the magic-soaked soil turns every plant pure white. This monster-filled zone is perfect for rookies, and he again warns his brother to stay close. Nikolai calls out to Theo, surprised by the sudden hunt tons of rookies lately seen anyone else. He spots Zeke and asks who the kid is. Theo introduces his polite younger brother, and Nikolai instantly recognizes his friend's sibling. The man pats the boy, promising a solid team. Theo scolds Nikolai's rudeness while Zeke hits the newcomer with evaluation eye. Meet Nikolai Bodin, a D-rank adventurer with weak water and light attributes. Zeke notes Theo is 3 years older, a skilled swordsman with solid D-rank stats. Nikolai asks why the plan changed. Theo apologizes and Zeke heads out to grind levels. Zeke's proposal flipped their plans. Ready to grind, he asked for help, so Nikolai demanded he prove his skills. The man notices the boy's neglect and takes a liking to him. Zeke plays nice, knowing this guy is his ticket out. Nikolai hoists Zeke onto his neck, declaring it's time to hunt. The O warns he'll fall, but Nikolai says to stop coddling him. The hero realizes this guy. In the woods, the kid asks his brother why, wait, is this really an ambush? Nikolai's no noble. He's just a commoner drowning in medical bills for his dying sister. He remembered his mother. Nikolai was broke until Theo bailed him out, paying for his fencing lessons in return. Zeke finally understood the man's kindness. He apologized for being clueless and offered every cent he had to help. Nikolai tells him not to worry. His only mission level up. He points. A white-horned rabbit appears. Zcast tells them to wait. Today's mission hit level 3 and master evaluation eye mid-combat. He scans the rabbit top stats flame and oblivion lows, darkness and fire weak point right by the horn. Nikolai baits the rabbit while Zeke snipes from afar. Nikolai doubts the range, but the hero warns these aren't normal rabbits. Hero 1 shots the rabbit with ray light. The man tells Theo his brother nailed the target first try level 1, but shooting like a pro. He looks away, claiming they've trained since childhood. Hero unleashes fire, stunning Theo and Nikolai. Zeke was a childhood prodigy, and Nikolai knows their family is elite. Checking his stats, one rabbit wasn't enough to level up, so he asks Theo for more targets. He blasts a windstorm, sensing a horde to the northwest, but something else is lurking. Nikolai snatched the kid and bolted for adventure, ignoring Theo's pleas to stop. Slaying rabbit after rabbit, he finally hits level 2. Excited, he tells his brother he leveled up. Theo's confused, so Nikolai explains the kid's power-up. Zeke forgot only he sees levels, but his stats are surging. He's about to surpass Nikolai. The man praises the boy, S8 Rabbit Hall, and tells Theo to join the training. He's Zeke level strong. Theo hasn't seen their dad, and Nikolai's stunned by this family. Theo's struggling to lie, so it's time to change the subject. Level 3 can wait, Zeke. Thanks, Nikolai, for the massive lessons today. Goblins ambush. Theo orders Zeke back. The goblins sprint right past them. Goblins bolt past a confused Nikolai. Theo says they rule the White Forest, so why are they fleeing? Suddenly, it all clicks. A massive tree streaks overhead. Nikolai covers Zeke. Theo yells to run. Zeke and Nikolai get split from Theo, but goblins ambush them instantly. He thought they'd run. Theo screams it's a trap to split them. Nikolai calls them lucky idiots, and Theo admits he's got issues. A massive beast emerges from the silent forest. He orders Nikolai to grab Zeke and run, or they're all dead. The Goblin King is here, and he's way too strong. How'd he sneak from the forest into the snow? He shouldn't be here. Theo's armor is gone, lost back in the forest where he shattered the barrier. He's lucky to be alive, but now he's pinned between a snarling monster and a pack of goblins. Theo shouts for Zek and Nikolai, forced to dodge the Goblin King's strike. He knows they can win. They need a distraction to escape, but he's forced to fight to keep his promise to Zeke. Nikolai knows they're outnumbered and trapped, but Zeke screams he's jumping in to help. A light shockwave shreds 3 goblins instantly, leaving Nikolai stunned as the kid wipes them all out in one go. Zeke looked rough. He hit level 3, but his strength was low, and his body couldn't keep up with his stats. Paralyzed and near collapse, he's got one shot left. Can he wipe them all out in a single blow? Theo battles the king, realizing he's no easy win. Suddenly, he spots something. Florence bursts from the ground. He's clueless. These games cut him deep. Zik hears his brother scream, then an explosion. Nikolai shields the boy. He's out of strength and warns they're in big trouble. They're next. Q said evaluation 1. The weak spot is under the helmet. Smash it with everything you've got to win. Go all out. That monster will regret touching his family. We have to save Theo. Theo failed to stop Gert's attack on Zeke, and the memory haunts him all night. He hated his weakness, so he gets Zeke's drive. He took his hand to win. Not today. Never. Theo snaps his eyes open. It's not over yet. He lunges for the grab. Theo warns the monster to stay away from his brother. Meet Nikolai. He tanks the hit with a light barrier. Nikolai screams the name. The Goblin King is breaching the barrier. Theo spins his blade and pops accelerate. He fires a whirlwind arrow, wounding the monster. The beast is wounded. Nikolai cheers Theo on as the monster clutches its injury and the guy collapses. The monster unmasks and growls. Stunned he survived, Zeke orders Nikolai to launch him at the beast's head. Nikolai's confused, but Zeke knows the forehead is the weak point. The hero's strength will crush him. He begs Nikolai to save his family, and the man looks back with understanding. He snatched it, shielded it, and fired it with total faith. He sees his opening and goes all in, conjuring an arrow of light. He pierces the monster's skull. He unleashes Flame Spear, lighting up the entire area. The Goblin King falls. Nikolai calls it over, and Zeke thinks he's won. The boy collapsed, blacking out as Nikolai lunged to catch him. Theo breaks his fall with a hug as Zeke checks his condition. He says he's fine, apologizing for getting hurt again. Zeke smiles. It's all thanks to his brother. He saved him from that monster, and the boy thanks him. Theo's stunned, then flashes a genuine smile. He hugs his brother, proud they protected each other. Nikolai tries healing, but he's out of mana. Zeke offers thanks, but the man credits the brothers for the goblin victory. Who's Zik? What was that magic? How'd he find the Demon King's weakness? Is his whole family this cracked? Theo refuses to answer. He's just trying to keep Zeke safe. Nikolai gets it. Zeke checks his wounds, but Nikolai brushes it off. He heals fast and has plenty to discuss. A kid crushed the monster, shattering Nikolai's pride. Theo thanked him, and Nikolai asked about Zeke's final move. Flame Spear, the monster's ash. Her power is terrifying, and Zeke's glad he caught Nikolai's eye. The Goblin King terrified him, a strange feeling for a guy used to being a loser. An assistant appears, claiming Zeke has a new life and must forget the past. He leveled up fast in just one day. That monster's arrival was no accident. It's fueling his growth. He's the reason they survived, and now they can finally build some real. God favors the lucky, giving them the power to be special. Zeke recalls Uncle Willibold's words, but never understood them. Now, everyone around him just suffers. Zeke needed strength. With enough power, he could finally end the suffering. The man in the cart asks why it's so quiet, but his friend says without a barrier, they're finished. He apologizes for the failure and vows to get stronger. Something slams into them, flipping the cart, horse, and everyone over. Confused by the Goblin King's arrival, the crowd fled his massive size. One asks about the cargo, but the other chooses life, and they bolt. An injured kitten drops from their cage. Eyes open, he sees the Goblin King and bolts. Months later, Zeke's entire family gathers to watch him catch white rabbits. Hero grinds levels on white rabbits for fun until Mariana suddenly tackles him with a hug. She lifts him, praising his growth a little more, and he'll be the ultimate hero. She hugged him, calling him her sweet brother, but he insisted she was even sweeter. Gilbert asks if Zeke takes after him. Willie confirms his magic is perfect and this is just the beginning. He's content with basic magic, Zeke's sister is hyper, and Gilbert's stunned solid progress for the Othang Tim. Mariana saw Z needed work, but their secret victory over the Goblin King had to stay hidden. Gilbert's briefed on the monster remains, investigations are live, Alberto's keeping watch, and Gilbert's praying for zero trouble. Zeke's dad moved fast, erasing the monster, and the secret Mariana crushed her brother in a hug while he fought to get away. He spots something in the bushes, intriguing. He breaks free from his sister and bolts to investigate. Marie tries to stop him, but a hand on his shoulder halts him cold. Her father told her the boy is safe and free to roam the White Forest. She flashes back to Gert lunging at little Zeke. She denies everything, refuses to leave his side, and follows him. Gilbert sees his daughter's panic. Willie explains she's been glued to Zeke since Gert's murder attempt. Uncle checks on Theo, who says he's fine. He thinks Zeke's living well. Scrapes are nothing while he explores. They can't cage him, so they'll just keep watch. Williball warns Theo Zeke stays behind the barrier, or they'll be searching the whole forest for him. Zeke followed his instincts straight to the spot. He faces the holy tiger, an endangered beast wielding supreme thunder and ice. Zeke tells the beast not to fear him. He knows they're endangered and need protection, so why is it all alone? Zeke thinks the beast was wounded during the Goblin King's raid. It escaped but needs help yet. When Zeke approaches, the creature bites him. Ignoring the pain, he heals the tiger. He stroked his head and declared him cured. Stunned, the beast licks its wound. The hero reassures him, and the soft creature starts acting like a kid. Zeke saw the baby's terror and knew something was wrong. Tiger relived the trauma. He starts crying, so the hero hugs the baby, telling him it's okay, and she's glad they met. The tiger's eyes ignite. Impressed, he pledges eternal loyalty to the hero. A magic circle glows, the tiger tackles him, and an assistant appears to announce the contract is sealed. The hero's clueless until the advisor reveals his blood contract with the sacred tiger, leaving the kid in shock. Blood exchange binds them in a contract. Our hero is clueless. Did he trigger it just by licking that blood? Someone hugs Zeke from behind. Marie warns her brother to never go out alone, then notices he's gotten heavier. Seeing the tiger and her brother's arms, she shrieks, "Monster!" Gilbert asks about a black cat, but Zeke says it's white. He found it alone in the White Forest and took it. Dad knows black cats don't live here. The hero blames a broken barrier for his arrival, hiding the beast's sacred tiger identity so he can keep it. They seal the contract. The hero scrambles for a plan, begging his father to leave the cat. Marie warns keeping a monster is dangerous, but Zeke insists he can bond with the injured beast. Marie fears a lethal bite, but Zeke vows to tame it. Eyes closed, Gilbert listened. His daughter protested, his son begged to leave, and he turned to face the boy. 19 words, perfect, wait, asking to. He asks if they read on the Tamer report. The hero confidently confirms. Moved by his son's plea, Dad lets him keep the kitten. Marie protests, but her father tells her to give Zika a chance. The cat and kids thank Dad. He checks the tiger's wounds, realizes his son used healing magic, and praises him. Suddenly, Mariana calls her brother's name. She's still taking on the beast. He's small and safety comes first, so she takes charge, leaving her brother totally confused. Zeke returns home, but Marie stays glued to his side, watching his every move. Tiger plays the innocent kitten card, but she isn't a fool. She knows he's still a monster underneath. Outside, Zeke claims they can unite freedom and magic. Marie watches as he starts, but the beast asks what's the rush. He just recovered and needs to train. He's gotta get stronger to protect everyone. The beast asks if it's for family. The boy nods. The tiger hugs him, calling him kind and telling him to smile. Marie watches the scene in total alarm. He's still a child, too dangerous to leave alone. She's been terrified since that day. She brushed off the doubt and focused on Rantamari. The beast spotted her, but Zeke jumped in to stop it. That night, back on his bed, he calls the day a win. His sister usually visits before bed. He stays frozen as the door suddenly bursts open. Marie walks in, surprising the hero who thought she was asleep. He asks what's up, but she's just there to visit. After all this time, she finally wants to sleep by his side. She asks her brother, catching him off guard. In bed with his sister, the hero had no clue how this happened. He saved a tiger in the White Forest and kept it, fearing it would hurt someone, and he was right. He never expected to sleep with him. His magic was stalled, so he begged God for strength and patience. To become a hunter, he must hunt to level up, but his stats are too weak for magic. He tells his sister to stay asleep. He boosts his speed and bursts from his sister's grip. He didn't expect instant success, but his White Forest training finally paid off. Thinking it's his sister, he turns to find the tiger. He warns. Marie will be livid if she wakes, but the boy pets the beast, promising to stay by her side. "Stay and protect your sister," he orders, then vanishes instantly with Accelerate. Tiger hears Zeke's name, rushes the bed, spins, and bolts. He flings the window open and leaps out. He's in the White Forest, but his body can't handle another speed burst. He has to wait. Time's running out. He's been grinding for power and leveling up, spiked his magic. Now, it's time to test his limits. Hero drops an ice block. He's hyped to master this new skill and goes for round 2. Next, he unleashes Thunder Demon. A dark silhouette appears. He thinks it's his brother. He was completely lost. The demon attacks. The hero begs him to stop. Zeke fires, the demon vanishes. He collapsed, dazed and near death. That thunderbolt triggered the memory, flooding his mind with pure terror. The boy collapses. This magic is too risky, the assistant calls the owner. Mana dry and body spent, Zeke collapses. He promised to be back before his sister woke up, but his own weakness is failing him. He remembered the tiger asking was he afraid? Even beside his mother, he found a sweetheart. But his brother Gert is fuming, blaming him for her death and haunted by those eyes. He feels like a pathetic, terrified coward. White rabbits swarm the fading boy. He's at his limit, but a familiar face rushes in. Morning hits and everyone's scrambling to find Mr. Siegbelt. Anna scouts the right wing as Theo senses Zeke and the beast have vanished. They expand the search, but a trembling Marie can't understand why Zeke left. The beast snatched Siegbelt. A witness spotted the monster, but the maid tells Mariana that Zeke wasn't there. The tiger leaps from the master's window toward the White Forest. She thinks she's seeing things. Everyone should be out cold. She thinks the beast took Zeke and heads for the White Forest, but Theo warns it's too dangerous and goes himself. Exiting the gate, she spots something in the distance. The beast lugs Zeke along. Mariana rushes over, shouting his name, but the creature collapses from exhaustion. She pets the panting beast, realizing it's the one that carried the boy here. Mariana checks Z's pulse. He's breathing, but out cold. What's her next move? The beast rises, stalks closer, and sniffs her hand. Moved by the beast's heart, she vows to save them both and pulls the creature into her arms. Zeke wakes to a strange warmth. Sister Marie's hands surround his head, her hair flying wild. She sees he's awake, crying tears of joy. Zeke looks up and asks what happened. Mariana hugs Zika, relieved he's safe. He apologizes but stops when his dad enters, calling his full name. Dad's relieved Zeke's alive, but scolds him for entering the White Forest alone at night. Zeke admits Mariana was right. Marie asks if he was forced, but the hero says he went on his own. His sister demands answers, but Zeke stays silent. Revealing his teleportation and high magic would only make his family worry more. MC weighs his words as his father waits in heavy silence. Dad 1T let this slide, grounding Zeke for 2 weeks with a guard to watch him. Zeke accepts, but then his father calls his name. Dad calls him special and says everyone expects greatness. Trusting the hero had his reasons. Continuing the lesson, Dad grabs his hand and tells him not to worry about Zeke's secrets. The boy is shocked by his sincerity. Dad promises the family is strong and he doesn't have to fight alone. Zeke is deeply moved. Recalling his family's combat footage, he realizes they're all powerhouses. Even if he's weak, they'll be fine, and he breaks down in tears. Morian spots the tears. The hero snaps, confessing he hid his massive power while practicing, fearing no one would understand him. Zeke weeps, fearing the past will repeat, and apologizes. His sister breaks down, while his stunned father realizes Zeke remembers Lyra's fate. Marie hugs Zeke, rejecting his words and vowing it'll never happen again. Zeke sobs in her arms while their father watches, consumed by guilt. Dad agrees with Marie they'll survive. He hugs the kids, vowing to never let them go. Back home with the beast, he's crushed by shame. He's never cried like this, and his brother saw everything. Zeke realizes things are easier now. He'll get stronger for his family and lean on them, finally sharing his deepest fears. Hero thanks the beast for rescuing Zeke from the White Forest. Driven by love, the creature rolls over for belly rubs as a reward. Zeke scratches the beast's belly in thanks, realizing his new companion still needs a name. Zeke blames himself for being a bad owner, shocking the beast. He twirls a finger near its snout, explaining that since he has a name, the little guy needs one too. He points at its nose, names it Hockey, and asks if it likes the name. Hockey loves his name, rushing Zeke with a wagging tail. Zeke's hyped, calling him a true friend, and the feeling is mutual. At the Abel estate, the father tells Lyra he finally realized Zeke remembers his time with the girl. Memories that are both happy and sad. Staring at the girl's photo, he notes the boy's explosive growth, the greatest prodigy in family history. Father S about to tell Lyra his theory, but his sons burst in with news about the White Forest. Dad praises his son and asks for results. Alberto reveals the magical ash was a goblin corpse, proving a monster breached the barrier to enter the White Forest, but the second son has one final. The second son asks the real question: who killed the B-rank monster? Everyone suspects Zeke, and even his dad thinks the Siegbelt did the work. Alberto says his brother isn't Zeke because he lacks high magic. The second brother understands the logic, but he still disagrees. The second brother recalls Theo hiding a wound during his report. How could a powerful mage get hurt in the White Forest? Alberto suspects Theo's covering for Zeke, and his brother agrees Dad 1T risk it if Zeke's involved. He needs protection. Ashes hit the city, sparking B-rank rumors, but Alberto already pinned the kill on the first squad commander. Theo's loyalty kept Alberto's secret safe. The second brother praises the first commander. The second brother already grabbed the ashes for experiments, planning to use them as a key ingredient for his new magic stone. Father tasks Alberto with Zeke's care. Alberto vows to protect his brother, but his sibling notes: Zeke is nothing like the Gert they've always known. The second brother insists Zeke's power stay hidden. Dad agrees, wanting his son to live free. Father eyes Lyra's photo, declaring it their shared wish. He'll finally marry in peace, but the second brother questions the monster hunt their father was guilty of. The second brother scoffs, shifting the blame from Theo and Zeke to the entire family, leaving his father and Alberto in awkward silence. Siegbelt's no longer just a kid with magic. He braved the White Forest alone, making his dad suspect he used a teleportation stone to travel that fast. The second brother notes the fire and light stone is pricey. Suspecting Zeke mastered teleportation, the young man and his father decide to watch him. Alberto calls his father, leaving the man baffled. Alberto mentions Dad's promise to let the boy see Zeke fight, but work kept him away. Dad asks if this is what his brother meant, revealing a stone. The boy realizes it's hiding a secret note. Dad's secretly filming Zeke. Alberto's impressed. But the second brother thinks they're making another huge mistake. Watching the footage, Alberto gushes over his cute brother, while Dad reveals the kid's already mastered healing magic. Big bro beams, that's his sibling for you. The second brother peeks behind Alberto and his dad, asking for space to see. The next day arrives. Zeke asks the second brother for magic lessons. He smiles, agrees, and tells the hero to give it a shot. He taught every elder magic except Gert. He vows to be a strict teacher, and Zeka's honored to accept. Brothers pleased, but the real work starts now. Zeke's impatient to learn, having already studied his brother's traits. Scanning Willybald, the boy sees his level, wind spirit status, and insane stats confirming his brother is a total powerhouse. Zeke realizes the kid has elite stats and massive magic power. Zeke figures enemies fear Willybald. Since the hero hasn't mastered high magic, he'll train hard under his uncle's wing. Scanning the mage's stats, the boy questions the wind spirit as Willybald eyes Zeke. The magician senses Zeke's massive potential and wonders what the hero will become. Willibald finds Zeke interesting. He'll be a blast to play with. Zeke senses something and spins around. The mage thinks the hero can master teleportation, but wonders if he's overhyped. Still, the boy's power is insane, and a beast, rushes to show the boy and magician something. The hero calls it over. Wait, let's double check. The boy in the magician, Hockey rips down the highest branch and shows it off, begging for praise. Zeke praises the wagging animal, wondering if it's the same one the boy saved. Hero confirms it's the same beast, Hockey. It wants to meet the red-headed mage, and Willibald thinks it's adorable. He's stunned. He's never seen fur this snow-white before. The mage praises Hockey's lightning ice combo. Thrilled by the compliment, the beast decides the kid's a good guy. Zeke thinks his hockey concealment worked, but Willibald senses a strange magic flow. The magician asks to touch it, and before Zeke can blink, the teacher is already petting the beast. He mentions lingering traces, leaving Zeke demanding answers. Teacher confirms it's residual magic. Without a fix, his mana flow will shut down. Zeke's worried his sister cured Hucky, but a simple fix isn't enough. What could be more complicated than a cure? The teacher reveals the beast is cursed, and not even healing magic can break it. Zeke is stunned. Zeke activates his power and spots the curse. How did he miss this? He apologizes to Hockey, but Willibald reassures him even adults would have missed it. Suddenly, the mage senses a dark aura leaking from him. The magician grabs Hockey's wool, using it to track down the culprits and make them pay. Hockey still can't use magic, leaving his pet desperate to help. Hick asks if there's a way to fix it. Purification works, but the mage says it's not his specialty. He hasn't mastered this high-tier magic, and it takes too long. Zach looks at his pet. They need to act now. Suddenly, Dad's words hit me. Never forget to rely on family. He turned to Uncle Willie with an idea he knew someone. Marie learns Kaki's status and pities the little animal. Zeke hears Marie mastered purification magic and asks for help. She agrees, but there's a catch. Short on mana, the heroine apologizes. Willie brushes it off. It's too advanced for her age anyway. She looks down, defeated. Magician calls her name, and she pulls a stone from her pocket, showing him she's got something. Teacher asks if it's a purification stone. Marie nods. It's a gift from her late mother. Once limited to light magic, she pushed to master purification. She mastered it too late. Simple cleansing couldn't save her mother anymore. She tells Zik their mom started feeling better after he was born. The stone holds purification magic, saved specifically for this moment. Maria tells Hockey the stone can save him. Zeke notices Smooth's change and asks why Smooth sadly warns him it's Marie S., so no magic allowed. She doubts Kaki's trust, but he's actually just worried about her precious stone. Feeling better, she apologizes for doubting Kaki and thanks him for saving Zeke. He's family now, so he asks for her help. Hearing this, the pet nuzzles her with love and gratitude. Sister Z gripped the stone, thanking her pet for his trust. She hurls the stone skyward, activating its power. Stone magic hits Hockey Key. It worked, instantly warm. Hockey perks up and jumps for joy. The magician confirms the animal S magic flow is normal. Zeke thanks his sister for the success, and the heroine's just glad she could help. Willa Bull tells Hockey to follow his lead and make it snow. Fluffy gets it and agrees. Hockey strikes a pose, blasting magic from his paws to summon snow. The boys watched in awe. The teacher praised the sight. It was like entering a white forest. The pets hyped to help. Zeke plans a snowman and briefs Kaki. Maria worries about the cold, handing out gloves, but the boys ignore the chill and keep playing. Seeing the kids play, the mage delays the lesson to honor Hockey's recovery. A girl pops from the bushes, laughs at the boy's snowman, and he's dying to play with Zeke. Training S on Zeke blasts a hole through ice with fire. No melting, Kaki pulls it off too. The teacher praises their fire control and teamwork. Hockey's already mastered magic. Tasks finished perfectly. The boy scoops up his pet, both beaming at the news. Willie heads off to find his brother, leaving the boys to practice. Zeke thanks him and stays behind. Willibald's relaxing with tea and dessert when he spots his brother and greets him. His brother apologizes for the wait, but Willie's fine. He just finished studying with Zeke. When asked, the teacher says Zeke's doing great. Months into training, the magician saw Zeke's insane drive. He instantly copied every complex move shown to him. Ze summons a skyscraper with pure imagination, leaving the magician baffled by his visions. Willie eyes Zeke's head, but Zeke shuts him down instantly. He's not Willie's type, so Willie plays it off as a joke. He assigned a magic control taskmaster it, and he's finally free. Brother repeats his vow, proving he's giving it his all. Willie talks hockey, his other expertise, detailing a black cat with lightning and ice powers. His brother cuts in, demanding he master the top two elements. Willie's seeing this for the first time, and the chaos around the box never gets old. Willibald realized hockey was being poached. Brother listened closely. Willie rips the tracking magic off Aki and hurls it into the forest of silence. The poacher-s hunting Kaki. His brother wonders where he is, but one thought hits him. Willie smirked. Who knows? It's possible. Willie doubts another attack, but equips Hockey with the family talisman just in case. He asks his brother for a design Kaki will love, revealing his obsession with the pet. Willibald calls him sweet and obedient, thrilled the family is growing, while his brother notes Willie's undying family love. Willie claims his brother loves their family, but he quickly brushes it off. He dumps a mountain of love letters, telling his brother they're all for him. Willie isn't surprised when his brother holds up another letter, mocking his popularity. Since Willie keeps rejecting them, they're pestering his brother instead, who's begging him to, fine, stay alone, but keep this up, and his brother's joining the magic squad. Willie panics, begging for anything but that. The brother grins, nothing can be done. Zeke trained hard, but the magic still wouldn't click, leaving him frustrated. He makes it, but can't hold it. Zeke knew mastering glass stones was his key to higher magic. Zeke asks if the sacred stone is dead. Mary confirms it's just glass now, but Zeke keeps pressing. Sister reveals magic stones are just glass infused with mana. Despite the name, there's zero sacred power inside. Intrigued, the boy asks if more magic makes it usable. She confirms it can hold any power, even magic he doesn't possess. This glass stone tanks even the highest magic. Zeke inspects it closely. She offers the stone, and Zeke realizes crafting more will let him wield multiple high-tier spells. In a crisis, the stone saves you even if it breaks your body. He adds magic sand to the stone, focusing his power to carefully fuse them together. He failed. The stone lifted, then crashed into the sand. Zeke raged, hands high, baffled why it didn't work while Kaki played nearby. The heroes were assessing, but I cut in. The magic sand won work. Uncle Willie says the sand is for magic training, so the hero trusts him blindly. The sand is level A, but the stone is level S. That's why Zeka's failing. He needs S-rank magic sand or higher, but where can he find it? The eye offered a mercy. Gather the forest's silence. The hero asks for the deal. The eye displayed the spirit forest on screen as Zeke questioned it again. The eye reveals magic sand and rare materials in the forest. Zeke declines, lost, but his assistant offers to lead the way. They ask to leave now. Before the hero can even speak, a mysterious wind blasts through the room. A girl appears in the wind, smiling. She's finally found Zeke, and the hero is stunned. A girl lunges at Zeke with a hug, claiming she finally found him. Zeke's totally lost and demands to know who she is. She was always forbidden from seeing him, but the second they let her, she rushed over. Zeke asks who gave the order. Haki leaps onto a girl hugging the owner. She fakes mercy but spots Zeke sweating, and Haki exposes the truth. He's a demon named Zeke. She calls him out. He's a sacred tiger, and she realizes he's hiding it. Kiki agrees to keep the secret safe. He can tell a soul. She's clueless about the box but senses its hidden power. Who is she really? Zeka steps up and pivots so she doesn't miss the box. He snaps his fingers to split them up, and the girl's thrilled Willie interfered. The boy turns to his uncle, complaining his friend S bothering him. He introduces her as Frau's spirit, and she's thrilled to meet him. She's bound to. Willie Zeke presses for spirit info. He saw the wind spirit on her screen and realized he was totally lost. The magician says Dante fear her humans and spirits are enemies, but she's actually kind. Frau's only says that to people she likes. Willie tells her to stop, but she claims she meant no offense. He realized she saw the hidden magic because she's a spirit. Realizing Zeke is a normal human who can see magic, the mage swears him to secrecy about Frau, and the boy agrees. Frau asks if Zek's seen spirits. He says she's his first. She's thrilled, but her reaction makes him wary. The spirit hugs the boy, vowing to protect him. Since Will cares for him, she will too. Pressing her forehead to his, she calls Zeke fascinating. Her curiosity makes him uneasy as she asks why he's a child instead of an adult, leaving Zeke completely confused. Willibald steps up, skillfully dodging the spear Fra pouts, calling William a meanie and demanding a closer look at Zeke. They hit the city, and she's ecstatic. Confused but eager, she tags along. It's been ages since she's been out. Magician warns she'll stand out. Zekit already knew he'll tell the teacher later. Fraud turns to Zeke. Feeling generous, she offers him his prize. Zeke's eyes light up. What is it? The spirit asks for magic sand. Zeke asks for some. She's empty-handed now but promises to deliver. She offers him spirit forest sand, but the teacher says Zeke's too powerful for it. Fraud accepts the training, and Zeke aims to craft a glass stone just like Marie's. Willie agreed his student was right, but couldn't hand it over. Yet Zeke asked if he was busy. He's got a massive experiment coming up and needs to get back ASAP. No time for training. He apologizes to Hake while playing, but the hero brushes it off, knowing his uncle is just overworked. His job is full of cool materials. Frau jumps in to deliver it, but Willie shuts her down instantly. Doing this will only confuse and terrify the public. Even as a human, she is too unstable to act alone. The spirit snaps back. I know. Final choice. She aimed to create Z Cappy. Wait, she wanted to make Z Cappy. She had to make. Zeke cuts in, grabbing their attention. Is it possible? He declares he's heading to the magic group himself. The magician asks if he's in. The boy agrees it's his dream to see it firsthand. Frus loved their first trip, but Willie couldn't stop worrying about his student. He lets Z handle it, and the hero thanks him with a grin. He's hyped. After all that wondering, the big day is finally here. Kaki clings to his master, begging to go, but his uncle forbids it. He's a unique specimen, and the lab won't stop poking him. He and the rest did the same. Kaki changes his mind and stays home. Zika agrees, praising his little friend. Willie promises to tell his brother, warning Zeke to stay safe and not fail. He'll be waiting, and Zeke obeys every word. Frau asks if he's ready. The hero's confident. He's got a cart and his uncle's backup. The hero swore he'd return this time. The spirit warns him to be careful, while Kaki, held by Flo, vows to wait for his master. Theos calls Zeke a good boy and sends him off. Zeke obeys. Hero leaves the boys. The wagon crew yells they reached ready, and Siegbelt thanks them. He sprints to the cart, waves to his family, and heads out. Siegbelt fidgets in the carriage, asking if the capital is close. It's his first time visiting, and he's dying to arrive. He recalls hunting a monster with Theobald, a top-secret mission. He gives his thanks. Master Verwold's elite Third Order masters war, politics, and the research of magic and monsters. Hans asks if his dad sees the table yet, but Zeke's already scanning everything through the window. They've hit the capital. Magic buildings in the capital's west, but the research center is hidden elsewhere. Hans hides the experimenter's secrets from the hero, adding that his uncle is right there. He slipped up again, begged Zeke for silence, and laughed it off. Hans is blocked at the magic building. A girl stops him only. Ziegbert is allowed inside. Hans claims the hero is just a kid in their care, but the girl stands her ground. The girl refuses to accept it, but Zanzester tells her to chill. Rules are rules, and the gentleman will be fine alone. His partner refused the terms, but Zeke stepped in, assuring them it was fine, and telling them to wait in the capital until he returned. The hero found his guide terrifying, even though she swore to protect him. The girl turns and Zeke follows, waving to his escort who warns him to stay safe. He's finally reached the research center, heart pounding with curiosity. "Watch your step," she warned, leading him through the dark, rainy corridor. She walks away without looking back. He timidly asks, "Is she really leaving him behind?" Angry he'd claimed he could handle it alone, he bolts after the girl. The hero waits as the door begins to open. Facing the massive black doors, Zeke admitted he was finally scared. A massive door looms at the end of the dark hall. He has no clue what this place is. The door swings open, unleashing a blinding light. A massive research complex and a towering tree emerge from the light, dwarfing Zig's expectations with its sheer scale. Siegbelt asks what's oozing from the tree. Is it sap? She spins around and confirms it. Basically, he recognized the juice from his books. It's the key ingredient for magic tools and medicine. He explains this tree is rare and vital. Caught her look, he apologized. It just slipped out. The girls reveal the tree predates the research center. It's massive and still growing. Zig's hyped for the intel. Amrita is vital, so they use research waste as fertilizer and monitor the tree daily. The hero finally gets it. Amrita and the research center are symbiotic, just like the girl said. The crew hits the Department of Magical Research. Zig's stunned by the beauty inside. The girl points the heads behind the blue door. She turns to leave. The hero asks if she's going, and she snaps back, asking if she needs to repeat herself. The chapters behind the blue door. Zig realizes they're staying until the end. She wants a whole week to talk. She stops, telling him there's no rush to see it all. He looks at her, realizing she's a fellow explorer. Hero bursts in, spotting uniformed researchers and a massive stone hanging in the center. He shuts the door and enters the research center. It's his uncle Zeke rushes to meet him, but as he asks about Fru, his uncle cuts him off. Researchers there see spirits, so he's hiding her elsewhere. She urged the hero to hurry, but he just laughed, confident as ever. Zeke reeled as the stone sparkled right in his face. The kid already knew, but Uncle said it anyway, a new teleportation stone. Normal stones only link one spot, but new ones connect multiple locations, letting you warp anything anywhere at will. Formula S set. They re-testing the coordinates. Now, one error means a total reset. Next goal, hitting multiple spots at once. Zeke's hyped uncle agrees if this works, it'll revolutionize transport and make carriages obsolete. Time to show the hero the rest. Specialists handle the magic, tools, and the giant tree, but the boy demands to see it all. He laughs at the attitude, telling him to chill. Suddenly, a massive explosion. Researchers were clueless, but the stone definitely changed. The blast expands. Kill the stone. Uncle's panicked for Zig. Blinded by the blast, he has no clue what's happening. The room is trashed, and Zig is on his knees. A confused man nearby calls out, asking if Zig is finally awake. It's his uncle. Relieved the hero survived the teleport. She asks how he's feeling. Z says he's fine and asks where they are. The magician says they are likely in the dungeon. The hero's stunned Willie scans the area. It's just a low-level dungeon. The mage is baffled. A formula glitch. No, the math was solid. Someone hijacked the spell. Wait, the mage is baffled is good. A formula. Zeke calls his uncle, who's baffled by the forced teleportation. The stone S coordinates glitched, leaving them stranded and hunting for an escape. Hero asks to teleport out, but he's shut down. Dungeon restrictions make it impossible. Dungeons litter the globe, hiding biomes from meadows to frozen peaks, real or fake, no one knows, but every nation is racing for answers. No one knows why they exist. Teleportation is banned inside, and these dungeons swallow the dead like a trap, terrifying. Deep in the dungeons lie world-changing artifacts, relics so alien that researchers believe they were it from another dimension. Dungeons are deadly, but reach the end to unlock the universe's secrets. Zig's hooked, immediately asking if there's an artifact waiting. Willie warned him the dungeon looked cleared, and the boy finally realized the truth. He still didn't get the TV dungeon's teleport. Was it his skill again? Uncle heads up to find the exit. If the boss shows, they'll crush him and head back down. The mage leaned in, asking if Zig wanted to solo the boss. Stunned by the proposal, the guy tells the hero it's the perfect chance to show his growth, since real combat beats practice every time. After a quick clash, the hero admits his uncle was right. He doubts he can beat the boss. The boss is the B-rank Red Sword King. The hero double-checks the rank. He only faced a B-rank Goblin General with his brother. Now he's solo. Zig calls it impossible, but the teacher challenges him. Willie knows he can do it. He laughed, certain the hero tensed. Did his uncle really not know about the Goblin General? Willable insists the dungeon isn't scary, claiming he can escape to the floor below anytime and daring him to try. Suddenly, they hear a voice. A girl's voice. Deep in the dungeon, they're baffled. The major sensed the boss fight was starting, but he didn't know why. Zig rushes toward the voice to help, but Willie tries to stop him. He burst outside and froze, paralyzed by the sight. It's an animal-eared girl hanging from a web. The hero froze in disbelief while his uncle savored the sight. Stones float around the girl as two stone monsters block the path. The magician asks if Zig's ready. Closing in, Willie tells the hero to show off his training. The battle starts now. He spots two earth element coal spiders, and one instantly fires a web at the heroes. Willie saves a frozen Siegbert, grabbing the baby and parrying the web. He shouts to target the eyes and legs just like in training. Real monsters meant deadlier stakes. He nodded, facing the stone beast head-on, knowing its rocky body gave him the edge. He triggers Wind Mantic Blade, slicing the spider-s legs with razor air and driving it berserk. Willie praises the boy's warning as a spider lunges from behind, jamming his sword into its open jaws just in time. The knight shreds the monster instantly. He apologizes for leaving the beast for training, and Siegbert laughs awkwardly. Monster's dead, the man suggests, freeing the survivors. The hero agrees. Willie slices the threads, dropping the cocoons. The girl plummets, but he catches her mid-air. Siegritz's touch wakes her, but as she asks who he is, a giant man and a floating girl burst in. Relieved the hero saved their mistress. The man drops her, and she bolts to her mistress, relieved she's safe. She warned Mrs. Dye her animal ears were showing. The girl checked her disguise tool, but it was broken. The servants knew her secret for ages and told her to relax. Seeing them panic over her looks, Siegbert didn't get why animal ears were a problem. He cloaks Dia as a man demands his name. The hero freezes, so Willie covers for him, claiming they're just passing through, then asks if these guys are more than just simple. Willie recognizes the big man's robes. He's a top-tier magician. The lady credits her crew for the rescue, but the man thanks Willie. The knight insists the kid deserves the credit. The man thanks Siegbert for his bravery, leaving the boy flustered. They've saved 2 more unconscious survivors, so it's time to check the rest of the cocoons. Willie shrugged, claiming there was nothing to see. They cracked a cocoon open, finding only empty gear. The mage explains anything that dies here rots in hours, even people. Coal spider cocoons drain life force, killing victims instantly. Shaken! The big guy suggests, looting the gear and retreating. Willie agrees. Hero checks the girl and her assistant as the Beastman mourns the loyal knights who died fighting spiders for their country. Siegbert blames himself for being late, but Diana forgives him. She's still trembling, so he hands her some cookies to calm her down. His cook packed these sweets to erase bad memories, and he takes a bite first to prove they aren't poisoned. Diana shrugs and tries a cookie, but one bite makes her face light up. It's incredible. Zig's glad she liked it. He offers Emma treats, but she refuses, feeling unworthy. Suddenly, Pal approaches. He loots the dead knights while the mage sets up a magic tent. They'll gear up the survivors next, but Zig's stunned his uncle even had tents in his stash. Diana thanked the magician, then the kind young man for the sweets. Suddenly, she stood up, apologizing for forgetting her introduction. Siegbert didn't realize he just saved Princess Diana of Estonia. He's stunned. He never expected to rescue royalty. Willie sets camp and inspects the debris. Magic protection hid the nearby spiders from sight. Grabbing a shard, he mutters, "This is way too mysterious." One line out, no line breaks, knights awake. The group hits the tent. Diana introduces Camille and Danielle, and the guys confirm they're fine. Princess introduces Emma as her maid. She stands and thanks the heroes. Next is Pal, aka Pascal von Barschmude. He's an accountant who doesn't look the part, but he's Diana's most trusted ally. Willie identified him as a bar schman, son of the elite knight Pa, while the Count recognized him as the legendary Scarlet Mage. Powell suspected it from Willie's hair, but the House Abel crest confirmed it. The princess never expected her saviors to be from this house. The magician apologizes. Willie reveals he's Mengesta's third vice commander, and Siegbert introduces himself. Diana repeats his name, ending their talk. The mage asks how they arrived, but they're clueless. Their broken teleport stone dumped them straight into the dungeon. Cocoons wrap them instantly. Zig sees their ally trapped, while Paul warns that the princess vanishing would ruin the kingdom. They must return Her Highness to the surface safely, but without training and specialists, it's impossible. The Count turned to Willie, asking the legendary House of Abel Mage to lend his power. Zig tells his uncle the newcomers share their goal. Teaming up makes the escape easier, and his uncle laughs. He saw it coming. He'd agree, but only on his terms. Clutching a dark oath scroll, Willie's only rule was simple. Keep Sieg's dungeon imprisonment a secret. Camille refused. The oath scroll is unbreakable, and violators face any punishment without limits. The knight warns the contract is lethal. Zig, totally unaware, is left in pure shock. Camille warns the scroll endangers the princess. Willie understands, but without these terms, the magician won to help. He'd kill anyone to keep Siegbert a secret, no matter who they were. The princess understood. She asks if Zig is a generational gem, but the magician's shocked face says he's clueless. Uncle seized the chance to show Zig he wasn't ordinary. He was the Abel family's most vital member. Hero sensed Willie meant more than just talent, but the true secret eluded him. Diana reached for the contract, but Zig warned her to stop. The deal was a total trap. He asks the princess for secrets. The boy tries to sign the oath, but the mage stops him. He insisted they take responsibility, or they'd never be true comrades. Moved by his sincerity, Diana sheds her robe to reveal her beast form, begging him to keep her ears a secret. Camille and Daniel are stunned. The magician asks about her ears, and the princess confirms she was born with them, a rare trait from her mixed bloodline. Royal blood only made things worse. Sieg realized discrimination existed here too. She hides her ears with magic, but the spider attack broke her tool. No one can know a half-breed is in power. Diana demands total secrecy until her reveal. She forces a contract. Zig agrees and pressures his uncle to sign too. The magician hesitated, demanding Zig honor the contract. Zig swore he'd never upset the lady. The boy was still kind. Mark swapped his death sentence for a memory wipe, and the princess thanked Zig. She drops the contract for signatures. The scroll snaps shut, flies up and glows, splitting apart to merge into everyone's bodies. Bound by secrets, Camille grumbles he'd never sign this as a princess, while Paul asks the mage for help. He smiles. The deal is struck. Willie vows to lead them out, shaking hands as the Count places his trust in him. Zig vows they'll survive. As the hero and princess shake hands, the magician watches, hiding a secret he kept from his protege before the contract. He played the villain to shield Zig from a traitor. The magic stone revealed a barrier rigged to isolate the princess. If he's right, Willie's certain there's a traitor among them, but he doesn't know who yet. Willie knew things were messy, but it was fine. Sieg could handle the fight alone. He'd investigate Estonia himself then. He remembered something else. Siegbelt wakes up to his uncle's instant good morning. Hero asks who Willie's talking to. Willie claims it's no one, just guarding his nephew, but Zick totally forgot his tent duty. The boys are exhausted, so the hero and his uncle take the watch. Hanging his head, the boy asks when he dozed off. His uncle snaps, asking if he's too young for night watch while the camp sleeps. He laughs, inviting the kid on Theo's adventure, but the nephew refuses. He needs to get stronger. Uncle's right, he's born for adventure, slaying monsters with Theo, and the boys gets his blood pumping. Physical side personality. The original says childish features. Willie asks if his nephew's embarrassed. The hero claims he's an adult, but his childish features show. A gourmet feast hit the table. Diana watched the sandwich prep with pure hype. Willibald found edible monsters, not just coal spiders. Pascal agreed they wouldn't starve. Willie and his nephew guard the tent while Emma whips up a thank you meal using canned goods. Sig hands Diana the sandwiches, offering his share too. Eyes glued to the plate, she asks if it's that obvious. Her tail shoots up, blowing her cover. The hero calls it out, and Diana panics. Hiding her tail, the princess asks if Zig is disgusted. He smiles, asking why he would be. It actually suits her perfectly. Camille snaps. Dante say Diana looks like a demon demanding respect for the princess. Zig panics, swearing he didn't mean it and insisting she says just cute. Camille snaps, furious he'd tease the princess. He doesn't care if Sieg's just a kid. Willie cuts in, smilingly reminding Camille who kept him alive. He warns him to stay out of the kid's business, and Camille instantly apologizes. The princess soothes Camille, happy her looks are a hit, while Daniela demands their next move. To escape, they must kill the boss. Willibald's magic tracks it to the 25th floor, just 2 levels below their current position on the 23rd. The boss is likely the Red Blade King. Monsters are waiting, but with teamwork they'll clear the weak easily. Camille asks for an enemy count Willie can track them, but the terrain ahead is a mystery. Pascal was satisfied Willie would easily scout the enemies ahead, proving his uncle was as impressive as ever. Reach his Uncle S level and he can do the same, but he's hungry for more than just magic. The Count suggests prepping after dinner. Diana agrees, giving Powell the lead and thanking her family for the help. Zig calls it a waste. Camille smirks, noting geniuses are everywhere, while Daniela senses the night's growing tension. Pamela's reeling Daniela caught the magician contacting someone about the magic stone fragments this morning. That explains the flight. They nearly hit the dungeon, and Camille was livid the mage almost set them up. He went to warn the team, but Daniela stopped him. Revealing the truth now is suicide. Willie's magic is way beyond the knight's. He fumes at his helplessness while Camille demands a better plan. The girl recalls a comrade's brother, asking if he's a legendary knight. Camille lived in his relative Isi's shadow. Everyone focused on the golden child's success, leaving the younger one completely ignored. Camille thought knighthood would earn him respect, but he's still miles behind the veterans. To win the naive Gaia's trust, Daniela claims she recommended him to the princess, shocking the leashed Camille. He was the perfect choice. She knew his strength would keep her highness safe. Camille tearfully thanks Aniela, but she tells him to stay strong. They're going to make it. Daniela vowed they'd crush the Scarlet Mage together, fueling the hero's resolve to protect his princess. Next day, floor 24, lunchtime. They hit a herd of cows, and Zig uses magic and brawn to turn them into fresh steaks. Powell's hyped by Sieg's solo monster kills, making Camille wonder if he's even a kid. But Willie knows the truth. The hero hasn't even hit his limit. The Count finally understood the mage's contract and the gem's purpose. This boy was no ordinary kid. The team finds Zig loaded with loot. He promises a feast, but Camille's still spooked. Corpses vanish here, yet the meat remains. Willie explains the dungeon devours bodies for energy. The flesh vanishes instantly, but the valuable loot remains. Loot drops for the taking, but Camille's baffled why monsters are dropping entire meals. Stumped, the mage jokes the dungeon is just an ancient farm. The knight snaps. This place is way too terrifying for that. Zig spots the princess while handing out gear. Her ears are trembling, but he steps in to tell Diana there's nothing to fear. She tried to lie, but her tail betrayed her. Hugging it, she admitted it always gave her away while Zig awkwardly apologized. Emma asks if he's scared of monsters. He admits he is, but his drive to get stronger keeps him going. Fist clenched, he vows to keep fighting and protect those dear to him. The princess praises Zig's courage, but he humbly brushes it off, eager to continue his journey. He blurted it out like the princess. He slays monsters, but he craves adventure and victory. Zig hated being cooped up. He refused to waste his life in four walls, and Diana sadly understood. Stuck in the palace, the princess had every luxury but envied the kids playing outside. The hero pauses to think. Zig takes the princess out, showing her how the dungeon turned beautiful through the monster's misery. Zig eyes the fountain and asks Diana to check it out. She agrees, so he grabs her hand and pulls her along for a walk. He vowed to protect her from the monsters, and Diana agreed. Camille tries to stop the man taking the princess, but Willia promises it's safe. Powell tells the boys to back off and orders Emma to stay with them. The Count's thrilled the princess is relaxed, and the magician knew she'd bond with the hero Sieg and Diana total besties. Their journey was wild, sampling glowing cosmic fruit and spotting a creature bathing in a pond. The road is brutal. Powell saves the team from a bush monster ambush, followed by a feast with the squad. Later, Dia and Zig get jumped by monsters at every turn. Pushing deep into the forest, the boys reach the final floor's massive door. Willie warns the boss is inside, and Camille readies for battle. He wants to crush the boss and escape, but the mage asks why the rush. The boss is B rank, and even a naive guy like Camille could win without a break. Wait until morning to face the monster. The man warns the hero to rest, but the boy suspects his uncle is forcing him to fight solo. Willie warns them to stay alert on their final night, but the princess suddenly realizes she might never see her friend again. Once the magic tent is up, Diana pulls Zig aside, insisting they talk alone. Seeing his shock, the princess claims Pal and Emma approved. It'll be quick, and they're staying near camp. Zig's about to agree when Willie interrupts, asking his uncle for a private word with the princess. The man refuses to let a kid roam the dungeon alone, so the hero starts begging. The princess droops her ears, fearing they'll never meet again. Willie nods. He lets them go, but casts an ice cage and tracking spell for safety. If danger strikes, he'll be there. The boys thank him. Zig leads the princess to a stunning spot he found while hunting. She follows, but is someone watching? His ward could finally protect himself. Relaxing, he watched the busy cooks and the knights eyeing the Scarlet Mage with suspicion. Willie hunts the traitor before they strike, while Camilla confronts Daniela over a mysterious magic artifact. She snaps the map shut, revealing it's a tracker monitoring Diana's status and every move. He asks why she needs the tool, but Danielle says it's to trap the magician. She tosses it to him, ordering him to wait for her signal. She reminds Camille he's protecting the process, while the knight vows to bring her home. She warns him, listen close. They only get one shot to take down the Scarlet Mage. Zig helps Diana up the stairs and into the open. 2 moons glow in the clear sky. She's stunned. She never expected such beauty inside a dungeon. The hero magically turns sand into comfy sofas, telling the confused princess to sit down and relax. The boy sits and Diana relaxes, forgetting her talk with Zig until he reminds her. She calls the hero amazing, young, smart, and caring. The princess officially thanks him, vowing to have his back whenever he needs it. He felt clumsy and immature, but he was learning fast and growing stronger every day. His uncle's words flash back Zig is special to the family. Hero asks the princess about gems, but she apologizes she knows nothing. The Abels built the kingdom, earning the Marquis title blood linked to the king's second son. They're the second royal family. He remembered his uncle's warning, but Diana had one more bombshell. The Abels guarded their treasure for centuries, but Siag was clueless. The girl reveals the truth. These gems are actually the family's young talents. The world's elite only know this touch and able treasure, and you're dead. Nobody suspects the hidden power of those they protect. Zig finally realized his worth to his family. The princess finishes her story. She knew nothing more, but the truth would find him soon. The hero apologized for prying. Diana smiles, telling him no apology is needed. They both want the truth about their destinies. Zig saw they were alike. After a beat, she told him to just call her Dea. Zig keeps calling her mistress, but Diana corrects him. When he asks why she cares so much, the princess realizes she's pushing too hard and apologizes. Diana wants to be Zig's equal, even if they never meet. Thanks to him, she's finally having the adventure of a lifetime. She loved her time with Zig, but returning means becoming a princess again, and the fun stops forever. She wanted him to treat her like a normal person, status aside. She just wanted to spend their final moments as friends. He smiles, understanding her heart, and calls her by name. Dia. Ziggs wants to be friends with someone his age, admitting he loves her expressive tale. Flustered, the princess hides it and tells him to stop. The Ungans promise to keep writing after the journey, certain they'd meet again. The princess beamed, promising the hero they'd definitely meet again. Zig was floored by the princess's beauty, knowing Diana would grow up to be a total knockout. The magician tracks everyone with his magic map. Zig and Diana stay back, while the Count and Emma hide in their tents. He spotted the knights. They'd stopped hiding their betrayal, likely using magic tools to stay off the radar. A smoke bomb drops, but Willie stays cool. The traitors are moving. He checks the map. Zig's gone. Someone's bringing the boy right to him. The magician scans the area and spots a shadow through the smoke. He hurls blades, but an invisible barrier deflects them. Willie's stunned, the ice cage is shattered, and Daniel's gone. Night passed. He didn't care which traitor arrived first. No one touches. Sieg! Willie tailed the traitor. He bursts into Camille's room, spotting a boy face down on the floor. The magician rushes over and grabs Zig, checking if he's okay. It's a doll, a trap meant for Willie. He spots the timer and tosses it, but he's too slow to escape the blast. Camille stood over the wreckage, relieved he'd finally crushed Willie. Blinded by joy, he misses Daniel, sneaking up to run him through. He hits the floor, screaming as she mocks his stupidity. Camille should have seen her plan coming. Danielle scored the perfect pawn any other guard would have seen right through her lies. Blood pools everywhere. Camille spends his final breath denying Danielle's betrayal, but she's cold. Every word was a lie. Danielle didn't get why she had to recommend that nightlight Camille. She'd hoped the monsters would slaughter everyone, but they survived. Her boss as magic tool is insane with it. Even a loser like Camille can crush the legendary Scarlet Mage. Dealing with the kids tonight was the easy part. Then she'd be free. She starts laughing, but Camille cuts her off. He reaches out, but she kicks him away, shouting. Danielle pitied his wasted potential. He could have been a great knight if he'd used his head. Now his life is over, and the dungeon will erase every trace of him. Daniela mocks that no one will mourn Camille, leaving the young man to die alone. A loud blast interrupts the princess and hero, sending them racing back to their squad in total confusion. Rounding the corner, the boss's door stood open. Emma and Powell rushed to Diana and Zig, frantically checking if they were okay. The princess asks what's happening, but the Count is clueless. Hearing battle from their tent, they rush out to investigate. Emma says a barrier trapped them inside, but Powell smashed through. The moment they escaped, the noise stopped. The dome protecting the princess and boy shatters, Uncle's magic crumbles, and Zig realizes Willie's in trouble. Daniela bursts from the boss's room, screaming for the princess. Diana sees the blood-soaked knight and demands answers. They've just been attacked. She knew they triggered the dungeon teleport, catching the Count off guard. Daniela warns the criminal vanished behind the boss's door with Camille and Wilbald. They need help, and the man agrees. The girl warns Diana to stay close. The criminal might have backup. It's safer together, and he vows to protect the princess. The heroes storm the boss room. A massive hall looms, lit by slivers of light. Inside, the monster is kneeling in prayer. The princess recognizes the Red Blade King. Sieg refuses to feed on his uncle and questions the knight, but she stays silent. The girl just laughs, calling the whole thing a joke. She lets her hair down, mocking their trust. The door slams shut. Dark branches seal the exit. Danielle's armor shifts to black robes. Dark liquid floods the room, spawning monsters as she vows the heroes die here. The Count realizes Daniela's behind it all. She doesn't deny it, mocking that it's too late now that the Scarlet Mage and Camille are dead. Zig shouts it's impossible, but Danielle doesn't care if they were alive. They'd be here. She hurls a sharp splinter at the beast. Normal bosses are boring, so she buffs him to make Diana suffer. The Red Blade King rises, bigger and angrier than ever. Daniela craved an agonizing death for Madame Diana. Uncle was baffled. What did this girl just do? Zig triggers his special appraisal skill. He realizes her spell woke the boss. Now its power level is hidden, and its stats are shifting wildly, making it totally unpredictable. He finally finds the monster's weakness, lightning. She's worried and annoyed. Why did the boys just freeze? She steered the massive beast straight at her partners, forcing a relentless charge. He reacts instantly, summoning a barrier to save his squad from the lethal strike. Daniela orders everyone to stay calm and wait for the princess to die, knowing they're all next. Uncle begs Gilbert to take the princess and run. The boy objects, but the man warns, stay, and they all die. You grab her hand, needing safety fast. He spots a nearby door, their only escape. A hidden monster strikes from behind. Uncle panics. His only thought, the children. Zig triggers a light barrier, shielding himself and the girl. He lunges forward, igniting his light blade to shred the monster and protect his friend. The kids scramble to dodge the beast's fast, unpredictable strikes. He realized the truth escape was impossible without taking down the king. Kill him, or they'll never be free. They must smash the stone Danielle buried in the beast, but it's shielded. Only lightning can pierce the barriers and destroy the core. But Sieg lacks the lightning magic to shatter the barrier and crush the monster's core. Sieg can exploit the king's weakness, so he's blasting the barrier with his ultimate magic, but his odds of success are only 20-10. One catch: Ziggs can only use advanced magic once it's a massive all-or-nothing gamble. He knew basic magic was useless against a monster this strong. Sieg held the barrier, but pure defense meant certain death. He needed a new plan, and he needed it now. Diana offers to be live bait, distracting the beast so the others can sneak in for the killing blow. She's defenseless, but he'll guard her escape. Since she's Daniela's priority, she'll lure the enemies away so the team can slaughter the spiders. She says run if she dies. Zig calls it too risky. The princess orders him to minimize casualties. She'd risk everything for the mission. Time was running out, and she wasn't wasting a second on talk. She hated seeing others suffer. Moved by her resolve, the boy backed her bold plan. They'll escape together, side by side, fighting to survive. Zig severs the beast's limb, forcing a retreat and buying the team time. He refuses to let the princess die. He'll protect her at any cost. Now he's strong enough to keep his word and shield his friend from any disaster. Ending up here was fate, not luck. The monster's only weakness is lightning, but he can use it. He's got zero chance of winning. He's flipping failure into a win and crushing this battle against all odds. Driven to protect his loved ones, he ignites his flaming spear to crush the enemy and save his friends. Slay the beast to finally escape. The magic stone is within reach. Victory means freedom. Horrified, the boy watches the king's severed arms regenerate as the boss instantly launches a lethal counterattack. Uncle and the princess watch in horror as the massive beast lunges straight for Siegbert. She froze in awe, but terror struck as Danielle suddenly appeared behind her. The magic stone survived the chaos completely unscathed. A light barrier tanks the hit, saving the boy from certain death. He clung to consciousness, knowing his friends were toast without him. Clenching his fist, he forced himself up. This fight was far from over. A mysterious voice calls the first finder a precious stone, and Ziggs's eyes snap open. A butterfly lands on the boy's nose, cutting the tension with a fragile spark of hope. He stares at the butterfly, confused. A voice explains he's too immature for direct contact, so this insect is his messenger. He realized the voice wasn't the butterfly's, someone invisible was speaking through it. A massive glittering sword flashes into view, radiating pure, majestic power. Sig remembered hearing that world-changing treasures hide deep within dungeons. He wondered if this new sword was one of those legendary prizes. His body might break, but hesitation kills his squad. Grit those teeth and stand up. He accepted the consequences. His comrades' lives meant more than his own. Siegbert seizes every chance to win. This massive blade is his weapon for life and freedom. He's up, but not yet a gem. Sensing potential, the voice transforms into a weapon to unleash the hero's true power. The barrier shatters, exposing the Princess Diana sees the incoming speed and knows the team is finished. The blast shatters the princess's barrier. Annoyed by the mortal resistance, Danielle forces the girl to meet her gaze to enslave her mind. She's about to torture the girl when a sudden blast rocks the room, stopping the fight and throwing everyone into chaos. They snap toward the blast, spotting a massive glowing sword devouring magic like a beast prepping for war. The source is the hero Zig, gripping a magic-absorbing blade and ready for the final showdown. The girl watched her protector in fear, while Daniela gaped at his massive sword shrinking into a rapier. Stunned, he survived the strain. Enraged by her failure, she screams for Siegbert to stop resisting and just die. Triggering Hurricane, he blitzes the boss, leaving Daniela in total shock. His mana is bone dry, but he feels zero fatigue. The sword is tanking the strain, keeping him fresh and sharp. Armed and confident, Zig goes on the offensive, unleashing his new tool's full power. He flips mid-air, slamming a massive fire blast into the magic stone to end the duel and claim victory. The magic stone shatters, securing the win. Now the hero holds the future, ready to end the fight and rescue his friends. Zig hits the ground as a beaming Diana rushes over. Thrilled he survived mission complete, Princess protected Ziggs, satisfied. Livid from defeat, Danielle storms the couple, ready to explode. She's livid and confused, her magic tools are failing, and her guaranteed win is gone. Nothing and no one met her standards. Constant letdowns left her bitter and annoyed. Enraged, she screams she'll slaughter everyone even if it costs her life, mincing them into bloody pulp until the last enemy falls. A precise strike disarms the raging Daniela. She loses her balance and slams down, disarmed and out of the fight. Confused and held back from the fight, the girl looks up as a blast shatters the wall and two dark figures storm inside. As a man storms in, demanding why she's massacring everyone and risking lives in a peaceful dungeon. Actually, let's use slaughtering. He marched toward her, body on his shoulder, determined to end the madness at any cost. Panicked, she watched Will Bald close in, screaming about his nephew and demanding she pay for the lives she destroyed. The Scarlet Mage. The boy looked to his uncle with total trust. The veteran mage blasts a concentrated magic beam straight at the boys. He instantly sent them something. Camille's the traitor, but his uncle still heals his wounds and mind, knowing his death would crush his sensitive heart. He asks his comrade if the man in his arms is also a traitor. Shaking off her despair, Danielle focused her rival was critically injured. Her next full power strike will obliterate her opponent. No escape. Sensing the threat, the enemy attacks. He unleashed heavy strikes to shut Danielle down and reclaim control. She's outmatched, fighting is suicide, so she bolts to stay alive. Will Bald blocks Danielle's escape with a barrier, demanding if she really thought she'd get away after nearly killing Sieg and trying to murder him with her puppet. The mage boasted that no local magic tool could kill him. Daniela snapped, demanding to know if that dungeon-terrorizing beast was just a machine from the Willbald Kingdom. He confirmed her guess the gear bore their kingdom's seal. But how did an Estonian traitor get her hands on their tech? She's full of doubt, but he shuts her down. The talk is over. He knows she's useless for info and decides to figure out the killer's motive later. He's done with her lies. It's time to rip the info straight from her consciousness. Daniela triggers the hidden device, sparking a massive explosion to create chaos and buy her time to escape. Willbald realizes she escaped through the Boss S exit portal, heading straight back to Earth's surface. Daniela swore she'd never forget this humiliation, vowing 100 times revenge as her uncle failed to stop her. The Scarlet Mage realized she escaped the ice prison using a dungeon teleport stone. If he'd stayed calm, he could have stopped her. Uncle realized his hype blinded him, leading to reckless moves and zero focus. Uncle arrives, Daniela bolts, and everything's finally fine. Diana asks if he's okay while the man beside him pats his head. Will Baldwin assures everyone his nephew is safe. He just overused his magic, proving his insane dedication. The princess thanks him for the rescue, but the Scarlet Mage brushes it off, claiming he was completely useless. He sighs, cursing his lateness yet again. She eyed him, gripped by anxiety. He told them to stop worrying and see the count now. The rest of the team is wounded and needs help fast. Once everyone is treated, they reckon heading back to the surface. It's the perfect chance for Zig to rest and power up. A loved one's warm voice calls out, and he slowly opens his eyes. It's his mother, smiling gently with a look of pure love. Lyra watched her son, stunned by his growth. It felt like yesterday she held him as a baby, but now he's strong, healthy, and her absolute pride. She guiltily apologizes for dragging him here, but it's the only way they can talk in private. Lyra reveals this is their final goodbye. He breaks down, clutching his mother as the pain of separation hits. Sagbert clung to his mother, begging for forgiveness for being too blind to stop the tragedy. She swore he was innocent. Her illness was a curse. His powers couldn't break. He couldn't change fate. He stared at his mom in shock, but she had a massive secret to drop. The Abel family treasure guarded the mother until birth. Now its power passes to the son to protect the heir. She wanted to spare her son from this heavy legacy and ancient debt, but fate forced her hand. The sacred artifact had to be passed down. Ziglet nervously asks his mom about the Abel family treasure. She looked her son in the eye to unlock the family treasure. He had to know about God. A divine God created this world, but when war for the throne broke out, he shattered his soul into thousands of pieces across the earth to protect his people. The Creator hid his soul fragments in deep dungeons, entrusting the strongest piece to his most faithful. Only one worthy soul can guard his core power, which is why the Abel clan holds the family treasure. The Creator's fate, a mystery, but his mother's story finally explained why the family guarded that treasure. Someone already guessed the secret. Lyra had no clue who exposed the treasure's secret. But with power this massive, she's now a prime target for hunters. She couldn't shake the weight of her son's burden as the guardian. The boy stared at her, worried. Zig hops off his mother's lap, praising her kindness. Even from the afterlife, she's still protecting the world. The young hero tells her to rest easy. Son will crush every obstacle fueled by ancestral power. He'll survive any trial ahead. He knew his allies were close, ready to back him up. He's not carrying this burden alone with loyal friends, a new family, and stories to tell his mom. He's ready for the future. Zig's protecting this world and everyone he loves with everything he's got. Zig was finally ready to claim the Abel family treasure. He vowed to his mom once the war ends, he'll live a free, happy life with those he loves. Overwhelmed, she breaks into tears and pulls her son into a tight hug. She's proud he's strong enough for the trials, but his mom warns him not to let duty consume him. Don't sacrifice your well-being, the most important thing. Lyra's one dream, her son's happy ending. He swore to live to the fullest, carrying her legacy forward. The wish granter announced time was up. She had to go back. She thanked the granter, truly grateful her selfish wish was finally fulfilled. Lyra hated leaving her son, but the afterlife's laws forced her soul to move on. Mom promised she'd always watch over him and have his back. Zig breaks down, reliving his mother's death, Lyra's final wish. Whenever you see a white butterfly, remember me. She whispers she'll always be his invisible strength through every struggle. He screams for his mother, tears streaming as his heart shatters, desperate to hear her voice again. He wakes to a snow-white butterfly glowing before him. Its shimmering wings trigger memories of his mother's final words as it circles him like her spirit. Haku cheers and tackles him for a hug, hyped to see his friend finally awake. The little guy's sparkling eyes show pure joy that his buddy is alive and well. Theo and his father call out, and he turns. Theo asks if he's okay, while Gaze and the older brothers check if he's finally recovered from the ordeal. Zig grinned, shouting he felt great after waking from a warm, vivid dream. He asks if they're finally back on Earth. Theo confirms Will led the way, and the party just reached the surface. The elder brother confirms the princess is hidden, but with knights on 24/7 guard, the younger brother reveals what caused this chaos. Rebellion erupted in Estonia. Princess Diana was charged with treason and sentenced to hang. Hearing the news, Sieg froze in shock. At a hotel near the dungeon in Kawan, the brother apologizes to the owner for their sudden arrival. He told the owner they needed an emergency evacuation. Claiming the Abel name, he offered to rent the entire hotel for 3 days, paying 3 months' rent up front to seal the deal. Theo tells the owner the Abels are paying to relocate everyone. It's a state secret, stay silent and forget everything. The Scarlet Mage seals the room with a spell, ensuring total privacy. He tells his father no one's listening, and the old man praises his flawless work. Apologizing for the late intro, the man reveals he's Gilbert von Abel, commander of Majesta's First Knight Order. He's relieved they survived the ordeal. Diana thanks him, explaining Siegen Wilbald helped them escape. Balshman demands answers. How is the princess leading a rebellion in their country? The commander says the small revolt is nearly crushed, but the coup targets Princess Diana and rebels have already breached the capital. She asks the commander for the death toll, her heart breaking for the innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. He reassured her the damage was minimal and no one died. Gilbert reports Prince Tobias accused the princess of rebellion, putting a massive bounty on her head, dead or alive. Thinking of Tobias, she sighed, crushed by her brother's disappointing actions. Balschmid scoffs the princess can to lead a rebellion from a dungeon cell. Zig listened and knew Diana's character. She'd never pull off something this extreme. He yells to his father that she risked her life as a decoy to save everyone. She's too selfless to rebel. She only cares for her people. His friend looks on, filled with, "It's official." His brother's report proves the enemies are targeting them, turning the family head's worst fears into reality. The boy realizes his uncle never cut ties. Gilbert adds that Tobias has zero proof Diana joined the rebellion. This shady move reeks of political games. The scarred mage laughs, calling it a joke that the brother is ditching his sister, while the nearby teen recoils in shock and disgust. The prince's nasty reputation makes this news no surprise. Succession laws fuel his hate for his sister. Now let's see which nations actually buy his story. Gilbert warns his brother to stop the insults around the princess, and the magician quickly apologizes. She hates the violence and refuses to believe her brother is responsible. They close in. The commander's mission: protect the princess. Baldas's brother questioned the move. Innocent or not, she's foreign property. Hiding her is a diplomatic death sentence. He swore he'd never sleep again if he sent an innocent girl to the gallows. Will Ball wouldn't object to his brother. He wanted the princess protected too. They're probing a lead linked to Estonia. With the Count and Princess's backing, they'll finally uncover the truth. If he kills Zig's best friend, his uncle will retaliate with a devastating loss. The boy thanked his uncle and father, eyes beaming with pure gratitude. The Count thanked the hosts for their care, vowing never to forget them, while the girl's grateful smile made the moment truly heartwarming. Uncle asks the princess to borrow her disguise device. A master repairman in Kawan City can fix the princess's disguise, keeping her hidden and safe on her journey. Scarlet Mage's brother rejected the master's tool to report to HQ, knowing management wouldn't act without solid evidence. The boys stared in shock at their uncle's warm grin. He's got a plan, but he needs Princess Diana to pull it off. The teens traded confused looks, trying to figure out the adult Essie plan. Will Bald invites her to the Able Mansion once the instrument is fixed, warning her not to run. The princess agrees, swearing her eternal gratitude as Estonia's royal queen. Baudelaire gratefully accepts the invite. The Scarlet Mage cryptically reveals another vital mission, catching young Zig completely off guard. Another key player just appeared, and they need to negotiate. Camille remembers Danielle's warning, every soldier is replaceable. It stung back then, but now he knows she was right. Why die? He's risking the very life he swore to protect. Camille realized he was wrong. Even if no one mourned him, did he have the right to die while consumed by regret? He snaps his eyes open, locking onto His Majesty standing motionless by the bed. He panicked, checking the princess for injuries, but sighed in relief seeing she was safe. She told him to keep his cool. Diana's thrilled he's alive, her smile filling him with relief, but her sudden intensity leaves him frozen and blushing. The Red Mage approaches the bed, admitting he sabotaged Camille's healing to discuss Princess Diana's assassination attempt. Knights surrounded the area, forcing the prisoner to abandon all hope of escape. Zig's uncle ditched his usual cheer, adopting the strict official tone of the Third Magic Group's deputy commander. Camille weighed the Scarlet Mage's words, lost in thought. Finally, he spoke up with serious respect. He turned and apologized, face red with shame for his mistakes. Admitting his recklessness, he knew sorry wasn't enough. He'll answer every question and face the punishment he deserves. Camille had no clue why any of this happened or how he ended up in this mess. Will claims he's not brainless since he's volunteering to help. Uncle grills Camille and Danielle. A prisoner claims the Scarlet Mage kidnapped the princess and plans an assassination, citing the deputy's shady outside contacts. The magician's shocked. The guy fell for her story so easily. Bolschmid claims the guards are elite. Doubting their loyalty is like doubting the royal family itself. Echoing the Count, the deputy demands to know, is Daniela a noble? Marquia Bika declares her side, Prince Tobias. Her uncle nods, fully aware of the dangerous game she's playing. He whispered, demanding more intel. The guy swore he knew nothing and was just following orders. Dead serious, the Red Mage asks his final question. Spill everything about Princess Diana's rebellion in Estonia. He bolted up fuming, trashing the accusation as total nonsense. Will Bold asks if the boy knows the truth, but he snaps back, defending the princess and demanding to know why she's being blamed for the uprising. Camille shouts that as her bodyguard, he knows Diana would never rebel. She's too kind to traitors to ever lead a mutiny. The deputy clears the princess and pins the hit on the boy, but the uncle isn't buying it. The suspect asks how to prove his case and if the investigator can force the truth. Turns out the investigator has a similar power. He offered to read the kid's mind and asked for his take. Hamill spirals, fearing a mind invasion, but the interrogator steps in, promising no physical probe. The Scarlet Mage has a unique tool to extract memories straight from the mind. It's never been used on humans, so the side effects are a total mystery. Zid slams the device as inhumane, but Uncle insists it's the only way to verify his old comrade's story. Camille's long service as the princess's guard proves their innocence. He pauses, then asks for his take. Will Bald asks if he's willing to risk it for the intel. Drowning in doubt and anxiety, he's approached by a girl overjoyed to see him alive. She asked him to wait, but Camille agreed instantly. To prove Her Highness's innocence, he didn't hesitate. He had to own his actions and do his duty, no more playing the brainless fool. The deputy watched closely, impressed by his grit. Seeing the kid's grit, he knew it was time to team up and execute the plan. Will Bald clarifies his plea. The broken teleportation stone caused total chaos, halting all checks. They're desperate for workers, but Camille still doesn't get it. The tool's harmless, only causing insomnia. It's never killed anyone, and he's stunned. He was lied to. Scarlet Mage reminds him of the doll blast, and the knight accepts his punishment. He borrowed a guard, told the princess not to worry, and promised to warn the prince by letter, leaving Sieg behind to protect her. The couple vanished, and the guys lunged to stop them. Diana's distraught, but the boy calms her, insisting his strict uncle is still a good person. She knew things would only get worse, so she had to stay calm, no matter what. Recalling his desperate, tearful struggle to save her, he speaks again with heartfelt warmth. He warned her not to suffer in silence. She needs to speak up, because her friends will always have her back. He knew it was a nightmare, but she wasn't alone. The Count, Emma, and the Abels had her back. He's always there, so they'll crush every obstacle and win together. She agreed, and Sieg's warm smile confirmed they'd made the right call. Luck got him this far, but the real fight starts now. This treasure can flip the world, and he knows such power brings brutal trials. Segbert swore to protect his family, vowing to get stronger and crush any obstacle in his way. Days later, a servant's terrified screams echo through Castle Majesta. Confused, the boy asks Julius why he's acting weird. Julius apologizes, explaining his friend Wilbald stopped writing but always cheers him up with surprises. Talk about a twist. The Abel family always had the weirdest ideas. No surprise, even the legendary family treasure got caught in the chaos. He orders a meeting with the Abel family, and his servant books it instantly. Julius instantly knew his deputy's demand was insane and totally out of line. The letter's sender demanded a bizarre service. The family celebrates their brother's safe return after days of constant worry and prayer. Fate finally brought him home. Terrified, the younger one vanished in the dungeons. Owl lunges into a bone-crushing hug the second he sees him safe. Zig's back, so it's time to celebrate. He's even prepped a special surprise gift for the young hero. They gift the boy a patterned silk headband. Enmarie jokes he looks like a little angel, making the whole room laugh. He protests he is a man, But the elder claims beauty transcends gender. Hot is hot. The kid disagrees. Gender matters. Theo turns to Al and his sister Marie. He tells them to shut it. The kid's wiped from the trip, and Princess Diana is officially their guest. Al explains Dad's at the Capitol, leaving him to watch the girl. He apologizes, but the princess is moved by their sweet sibling bond. They've prepped a safe room to protect the princess until things settle. She'll stay there for now, while they work to get her freedom back. Marie told the princess they've got her back, ready to help with whatever she needs. She thanked the family for their care, feeling their warmth and support. Zig promised more visits, asked for her favorite sweets, and vowed to bring a treat soon. As the girl waits, Marie grills her brother on their relationship. Is it romantic? He insists they're just friends. He collapsed onto the bed with a grin, finally home. Back in his room, Zik felt more satisfied than ever. Haku backs his friend, claiming he stayed in his room. He hunted rare magic sand in the spirit forest, never dreaming his journey would lead to a discovery this massive. He'll find a real family treasure. The radiant blade up part appears, freezing him in shock. The voice goes silent. With his new sword, he masters complex magic without breaking a sweat. He figured this new power was his reward for surviving that brutal trial. Zig couldn't gauge it. The weapon's true power was a total mystery. Haku inspects the glowing blade, but a mysterious seal hides its secrets, proving even his genius pet doesn't know everything. To save his expert reputation, the creature begged for more time to find answers, and his owner agreed, wishing him luck. He realized the sword's voice knew the treasure's secrets. These dungeons were built to guard relics, shards of the creator's soul. Stuck with the family treasure, he realizes fate's test is way harder than expected. Sagbert's fuming and totally lost. He promised his mom he'd guard the family treasure, but he can't protect what he doesn't understand. He seeks his father's advice and the Able archives. With danger rising, it's time for intense magic training. He wants his Uncle S help, but must hide his secret. The dilemma haunts him as he plans his next move. Secrets lurked everywhere. He feared touching them, terrified he'd break the balance and uncover something forbidden. I finally learned to trust my family and lean on their wisdom. Majesta's royal castle towers over the capital. Julius finally replies. He won't make a move until he's reviewed every single detail. Today, they're briefing the prince to make sure he fully understands the situation and backs their plan. Gilbert flags today's royal reception, but Will mocks his brother's hatred for negotiating with King Julius. He makes it clear he hates anything boring or annoying. Majesta's first Prince Julius greets the visitors with a polite welcome. The guests bow, apologizing for the delay, but the prince brushes it off. He was working anyway and wants to hear their stories. Reading the message, the prince's eyes glint as a wicked smirk spreads across his face. Julius fought back a laugh to keep his royal dignity. He bursts out laughing, leaving the Scarlet Mage baffled. The prince explains the message was accidentally hilarious. He had tons of questions, but he played it safe, focusing on the delegation's true motive first. The prince asks why they defend Diana's honor and risk making an enemy of the powerful Estonia. The king corrects himself. Why waste resources on her? Her loyalty is a gamble, and her value is unproven. Maybe her nation has the leverage to hook them and sway their choice. Will Bald was stunned. He never expected a kid this young to have the maturity and foresight to read so much into a simple letter. They were hunting for intel on the magic school. Julius clarifies it's his school, but why Estonia? The Scarlet Mage reveals the dungeon attacker used tools forged right inside the academy. The prince already knows. The magic school is a fortress immune to royal law. Stealing their tools is impossible. A traitor inside the school is arming the attackers, and the visitors need leads, especially after the Abel family was cursed. The families hunted the killer for years and won to stop. After the curse claimed countless lives, they now suspect a magic school student is behind it all. Julius links the curse to the family treasure, exposing the killer's motive. Authorities banned the Abel dynasty from the magic school, specifically because of their family's massive influence. The prince warns that school leaders hate the royals and Abels, using the shadow ministry to hide their deadly schemes. The royals want in, but the school is off limits. Noble heirs study here, and one wrong move turns them into hostages. Every step must be perfect. Wilbald says school info is limited, so they need outside intel. No magic school is airtight, secrets always leak. Julius realized the Abels used Diana's support for a rare, sneaky detour completely unlike their usual direct methods. The Scarlet Mage vowed the family would risk everything to protect their heirloom. Abel's legacy is their pride, and no one will endanger it. He'd hunt and punish every Abel family traitor. The prince understood the mission: restore justice and guard the treasure. He admits the kingdom gains nothing yet. The Abel treasure is rare, and he's not sure what his family gets for hunting the culprits. Wilbald wants magic school secrets, but Julius wants to risk a war for a gamble that might not exist. Their families are allies, but defending a rebel is political suicide, and they know the stakes. He reads the message and bursts out laughing at the lines. The Scarlet Mage snaps back, finding zero humor in the letter and calling the laughing prince an unpredictable weirdo. Julius apologizes for his confusion, asking if this is about Princess Diana's protection. Wilbald confirms everything is for her safety. The prince liked the plan, but countered if Abel agrees, he'll personally negotiate with Estonia to stop the war. He offers the Scarlet Mage an honorary title, granting him access to the kingdom's inner circle. The ruler demands he bind his fate to House Magist forever, stripping away all freedom. He waits. How will he respond to this radical proposal? The Scarlet Mage revolutionized the kingdom's magic tech. He's an unmatched warrior who's cleared dozens of dungeons and secured hundreds of artifacts. Julius knew the Scarlet Mage's power could revolutionize the nation. A peerless genius like this can't fall into enemy hands. Imagine the disaster if he joined a rival state. Will snapped, shocked the prince would even suggest his loyal comrade was a traitor. He denies the accusations, but warns that future chaos might force the specialist to quit. Julius ignored his family's opinions. He only wanted Wilbald, claiming the specialist's talent for himself and leaving his listener stunned. Gilbert was a patriot, but the Scarlet Mage is different. To force his loyalty, the prince uses a vassalage contract to chain him to the throne. The great mage is neutralized, securing the kingdom. The Scarlet Mage snaps, calling these restrictions a total insult to his professional pride. Julius laughs, admitting he always plans for the worst to stop trouble before it starts. He made it clear the candidate's professionalism is vital for the state's safety. With a record this solid, he's earned the title. The magician keeps rejecting the title, but the prince insists it's all profit since he'll handle the state business. He gave him a choice: accept the title and follow the rules. Refuse the deal and send Princess Diana back to Estonia. It was his call. Wilbald felt the tension, weighing every outcome. He accepted the title, thrilling the Magesta leader, who was glad his top strategist was finally on board. The prince demands a luxury mansion and staff, no comfort, no ceremony. He has 1 month to deliver, or talks with Estonia are dead. Julius warns them joining the Magistad dynasty skyrockets their global status, leaving the young man stunned by his genius intuition. The king offered a western border command with total resource control, but the Scarlet Mage double-checked, would he really be running the farms? As the title holder readies for the ceremony, the royal rep preps for Estonia talks, hyped to finally grant the specialist their new status. Will Bald gripped his hair in stress. The king's brilliance cornered him, forcing a total change in tactics. Gilbert calls the royal title a massive honor, but the young man snaps back. He's never cared for status and only sees more work. He ditched his dreams and sacrificed his freedom for his nephew, choosing duty over everything. Dungeon cleared, treasure revealed, and it's no accident Uncle must now finish what he started, no matter the sacrifice. Gilbert asks if he's building a mansion, but his brother prefers a modest house if he stays in the capital. Finding a perfect vessel was the next hurdle. With the ceremony deadline looming, they had to use extreme, unconventional methods. Borrowing Gilbert's vassals is nearly impossible. If Will Ball asks, that arrogant, long-haired guy will shut him down. The Ables guard ancient secrets and traditions, so they want to settle for just anyone they need, someone proven, honest, and rock-solid. Scanning candidates, the Scarlet Mage settles on an old ally he once trusted with a critical mission. A memory flashes, sparking a choice he's the only one for the job. Nikolai's suspicious, but Theo's just following orders to bring him and Sieg. Even Theo's shocked. His elder agreed to grant the title. The boy thought his uncle finally caught on, but turns out everyone already knew about the mission. Will Bald enters the hall and thanks everyone for their quick response. Nikolai mumbles nervously, but the senior mage kindly tells him to speak normally. He met Nikolai to talk Zig business, ditching the diplomacy to lay it all out straight. The Lord offers the boy a spot as his vassal, leaving him completely stunned. The kid asks why him. The Scarlet Mage's blunt. He's claiming the title and needs a reliable vessel. He kept Zig's secret, proving he's the perfect vassal. The Able family has too many secrets to trust anyone else. Wilbald merges the roles of bodyguard and vassal. His true mission: protect his nephew from Prince Hera's relentless teasing. Theo and the guy tried to argue, but were cut off. The Scarlet Mage warns the vassal sign a magic contract to guard Ziggs's secret or face instant death. Every resident signed the pact. He was reminded that dying for the job meant a massive reward and a legacy for his bloodline. The future leader reveals his sister is in trouble. He sold everything for a rental after a greedy noble's schemes killed their father with a deadly illness. Nikolai blames himself, not Sir. He ran out of time to protect his family, and Will Bald reminds him he never found a cure. Doctors failed, so he's using magic herbs to ease his sister's pain, but the Scarlet Mage offers her appraisal skill to find a real cure. Uncle gambles on the power to see if it heals, promising full support and luxury if it fails. The deal was perfect. He swore never to fail Zig or Theo, and the boy knew he'd made the right call. He finally becomes Will Bald's vassal, risking his life to save his sister and restore justice. Nikolai's ready to risk everything for his sister, but the boss warns the consequences are lethal. He backed the plan to fuel their drive to protect family, sealing the new alliance with a handshake. Nikolai never expected the bodyguard gig, and the kid was just as stunned by his new protector. He realized the truth as his bodyguard Zig was now his owner. The bodyguard is his uncle's vessel. Tied to the Estonia deal, Nikolai heads home to brief Sarah and prep the family for the move. But a voice stops him. Theo's talk turns ugly. The man sold the family mansion in secret and hid his sister's critical condition. He refuses to ask for money since the man's already helping Thea Bold is his only able family contact, and he 1T burden her with his financial mess. He roared that he's strong enough to help, and if things get bad, his uncle can fix anything. Carrying the weight alone is just suicide. Theo insists friends help each other, immediately prepping a room for Nikolai's sister. Nikolai timidly objects, but Theo's already asking about her favorite furniture. The kid snapped that his uncle's vassal was blocking him, his face twisting with pure malice. Sarah loves bright, peaceful rooms. After a sincere thank you, her friend smiles and happily agrees to help. Days later at the Abel estate, the announcement hits: the Bodden family is arriving. Marie's thrilled to finally have guests in this empty mansion, and her brother agrees they're already at the door. 3 Batten family members confront them, Glee's stunned by the speed and checks on his sister. So Ra's fine. Rory greets the guests and leads them to the reception. The kid hugged everyone, telling the boy he and his sister would be best friends since they're so alike. Marie tells Nikolai to tone it down, but he grins, claiming it's his usual style. Marie warns him not to snap Zig's neck. Sarah apologized for her overexcited brother and introduced the loyal staff who stayed even after the mansion was sold. Sarah von Baden introduces herself, apologizing for her appearance. Marie calls Sierra charming, but Sierra's looking for her brother's overlord, Will Bald. He's too busy to meet, so she leaves an urgent message. She rejects the Abel's help, so her brother won't assign a vassal contract. Gly snaps, demanding why she broke yesterday's deal, certain that something forced her hand. Sarah refused to let her brother sacrifice himself for her rescue, but he swore he had it handled and wouldn't let her down. He'll stop at nothing and crush every obstacle for her happiness. She refuses help and turns to leave but slips. Zig catches her, warning her to be careful. Racked with guilt, he apologizes for accidentally touching her cheek and making her uncomfortable. Her fever spikes again, so servants rush her to the sick room while Mira delays their trip home until she recovers. Nikolai panicked, watching his sister walk away. Confused why his sister rejects the cure, Theo asks if the brother hid the contract's deadly price. He stayed silent, but she already sensed the grim truth. Nikolai's floored by Sarah's grit. He's dying to talk, but his friend says, "Wait for things to cool off." Zig sends the servant for flowers, hoping a walk and talk will help the siblings finally bond. The boy thanked the kid for his help as Haku scratched the door. Marie checked if she felt better, hating that she'd suffered so much. Sarah felt like a total burden, but Marie reassured her Nikolai might be reckless, but he'd do anything to protect his sister. The sister sobbed, blaming herself for her family's ruin and lost peace nearby. The girl hung on every word. Years ago, her health tanked and her father died. Her brother stepped up, but despite the pricey meds, she never improved. Their fortune vanished, forcing them to sell the mansion for the healing herbs. Sarah stood frozen in shock. She realized her childhood home was sold just to save her life. The magic medicine was torture to swallow, but stopping meant certain death. To spare her brother the pain of losing her, she forced every drop down. Medicine money was drying up, and Sarah felt like a useless drain on her family until Nikolai mentioned the contract. She knew something was wrong. The more he spoke, the clearer it became. His life was in danger. His post-contract look confirmed it. Everything finally clicked. Sarah adores her brother. After their dad died, he stayed by her side, sharing stories and her favorite flowers. She can lose her brother? He'd do anything for her, but the thought of him dying for her sake is a nightmare she can face. Marie pulled the girl into a tight, soothing hug. Marie saw Sarah's silent struggle and felt grateful for her raw honesty. Sarada yearned for their childhood bond, wishing her brother could finally find peace and happiness. She's forgotten the last time her brother actually smiled. Heartbroken, he realized his sister could never see his face again. Stealing his resolve, he walks away, leaving the mourning group and their flowers behind as they watch him go. Wilbald sensed the danger and stayed back, certain the new vassal just needed time. The boy slumped onto the grass, crushed by total despair. Nikolai tells the boy their father died suddenly when his sister was just a baby, leaving the family shattered by the unexpected loss. His father's death wrecked his sister's health, and as her illness spiraled, he lived in constant terror that Soraka would be next. Desperate to save his sister, he finds a doctor with a magical herb, but the cure costs him everything he owns. His father's life work was gone. If the boy was sharp like Zig, he could have fixed the mistake and saved the family. Nikolai took the fall alone to protect his family, never realizing his silence was tearing them apart. He wasn't a protector, he was just a selfish brat. Too weak and inexperienced, he finally realized he couldn't survive this world alone. He hated admitting it. He should have trusted his friends instead of struggling alone. He missed his shot, and his recklessness cost him everything: his sister's home, his parents' legacy, and generations of history. He crushed his family's future, but Zig reminded him that saving his sister was worth every sacrifice. The kid vowed to protect his sister at any cost, sacrificing his wealth and happiness for her sake. He promised that with enough grit, they'd win it all back. He warned that death is final even with powers, leaving Nikolai shaken by the terrifying weight of his choices. A friend pushed him to restart, certain he'd reclaim his wealth and trust. He wasn't alone. His allies had his back. Sieg, Theo, and Sarah rally by his side, pushing him to keep fighting and face the new day together. Marie and Sarah find the guys. Sarah panics over her missing brother, terrified he's still fuming over her earlier reaction. Nikolai laughed at her naivete, promising no hard feelings and telling her to stop worrying since he understood her fear. He admitted she was right. Keeping his plan a secret to protect her alone just caused more trouble. He's done with past mistakes. Now, he's acting wisely to honor his master's trust. Naming him a vassal proves the master believes in his potential. He swore he wouldn't die, vowing to make his sister and master proud. He told Sarat to trust his assessing gaze to find the cure. Recalling Zig's advice, he felt a surge of confidence he wouldn't fail. Nikolai knew asking for help was selfish after his failures, but without his sister, his plan was dead. With his sister's support, he's confident he can crush any obstacle. Sarah longed to restore her family and finally support her brother. She swore to beat the disease, recover, and support her brother by any means necessary. Sura can endure anything as long as her brother lives. She thanks him for his support, leaving Nikolai in tears as he begs for forgiveness. He knelt before her, eyes full of sorrow, begging for forgiveness for the pain he caused. Deep in ancient Abalba, Will activates his appraisal gaze to scan for hidden secrets and danger. Magic revealed the disease's true nature and why medicine failed. Her brother demanded answers. It's mana overload. Uncle explains it's trapped excess magic, causing painful blisters and total exhaustion. This rare disease proves she was born with massive magic that shatters human limits. Sura couldn't vent magic, causing a dangerous buildup that made her sick. Will realizes the herb works by absorbing magic and immediately asks for a way to cure his sister for good. Scarlet Mage reveals a way, but there's a catch. The vassal is stunned. Her body is overflowing with lethal magic and it's killing her. They must purge the excess, but he refuses the servant's suggestion to use a curse. Curse users are rare. To master it, you must abandon your humanity. Will Bald warns that curse users aren't human, and he'd never trust Sir. With such a monster, Nikolai asks if the magic herb can help, but the answer is no. Finding a reliable curse user was like hunting a needle in a haystack, but with his sister's life at stake, he finally had a glimmer of hope. Zig promises. Nikolai hope they want to stop until they find a mage. Will Bald splits the job. He'll hunt for the specialist while Nikolai cares for his sister. Master says keep taking the herb, but watch the dose, or it turns lethal. The nephew can to keep the secret they have to start over. Time to talk! He bolts for the door. The boy nervously approaches his surprised uncle. but his anxiety turns his words into a total mess. Zik reveals his curse powers. Stunned, Willie asks him to repeat that. He asks for a look. Zeke lets him, and he gears up to show his strength. Curse symbols flare. Stunning his Uncle Zik apologizes for the lies, but he's determined to save Sarah and make Nikolai smile again. Zeke beats his chest, vowing he has the power to help Sarah and Nikolai. Laughing at Zeke's confusion, the uncle reveals he's on to the boy's curse powers and demands to know how long he's been hiding. Asked if Zeke hid since birth, but the kid didn't even have the words to explain it. Torn over his past, the boy breaks down, and Willie quickly apologizes. He apologizes, claiming he's just hyped Zik is way more special than his uncle realized, and some powerhouse might have its eyes on him. Uncle sees himself in Zik, both hiding family secrets. He praises Zik's mental grit and vows to reveal his own past soon. The man says not yet. The boy realizes his uncle is just like him, hiding a secret of his own. Willie praises Zeke's confession, but now they must determine if he can already use the sucking curse or needs training. Zeke demands to learn, confident he'll master the ability soon. The man tells him to slow down. Ziki deals in curses, but one mistake costs everything. He doesn't want the kid learning this magic. He warns the boy will learn in secret without guidance, so he offers Zeke safe curse training. Zeke thanks him. Will wants to start fast but warns it's getting tougher. He asks if the boy can handle it, and the kid vows to try. Zeke's hyped to master curses after finally finding his voice. He wants answers about his uncle, but bigger priorities come first. Zeke left his uncle and ditched the guilt this time. He's finally gonna help. Alone, he gets a majestive letter. Estonia negotiations are set, and Uncle's eager to see their reaction. Meanwhile in Estonia, Count Tobias rages over a mocking letter while his servant begs for calm. Tobias silences the servant, demanding Diana be handed to Estony while raging at the Abel family. But the Count calls it nonsense. Toby's fuming that the royals welcomed the Majesta princess to Estonia, but his servant warns him to stay cool. The tournament is coming, so it's better to just play along. The Count plots with his servant once the Estonia tournament begins. Tobias will bury the Abels and Princess Diana all at once. Days later, an Abel servant dresses Sarah in stunning new clothes, and she shyly thanks them. The girl apologizes for the clothes, but Sarah brushes it off. She never had a little sister, so dressing her up is a dream come true. She tells Sarah she used to dress Zeke in cute clothes, but now he's doing everything to escape her. The beauty's hyped to have a little sister, and Sarah claims the girl is happy too, but the girl denies it the moment she's asked. Willie's niece is hyped. The day is finally here. She knew her uncle would pull it off and asks Sarah if she's ready. She promises it'll work out, telling Sarah to stay strong and support her brother. The niece calls the dress a symbol of Sarah's new life if she works for it, and Sarah vows everything changes now. Sarah and the Abels gather outside her uncle's office for final prep. Only one girl makes the cut. Zik's been missing since morning. The brother vows to protect Sarah if trouble strikes, and she thanks him. The brother panics, begging Sarah for reassurance, but she sees him shaking and asks how he'll help. She calms him down, promising it'll be okay. Sarah enters her uncle's office with her escort, shocked to find Zeke already there waiting. Blocking the door, he demands she sign the same contract as Zikboat. Her uncle demands silence to keep the cure a secret. Zeke confirms it. He can break the curse. As vice chief of the 3rd Squad, he guarantees Zeke is a talented mage and asks Sarah to trust his student. She trusts him. His family's kindness won her over. Zeke thanks her as Uncle explains the blood contract break it, and she dies. They hide the penalty from Nikolai, but Sira vows she'll never fail. Her brother signed a contract behind her back, so this is payback. Her uncle agrees. The deal is done. Uncle waits outside. If anything goes wrong, Zicky and the girl better scream. He grips the boy's shoulder and heads out. He tells Zeke he's prepared and ready to succeed. It'll take time, so follow your uncle's advice and stop immediately if those symptoms appear. The boy nods, fully prepared to go all out. His uncle wishes them luck and heads out. Alone with Sarah, the boy says it's time to start. He asks for her hand, and she nervously hesitates. Zeke promises he's only there to heal nervous. She reveals her cursed, scarred palm. Shaking off his fear, the boy grabs her hand and promises her and her brother a fresh start. He's giving them a second chance. Zeke grips her hand, forcing his power to shatter Sarah's curse. Zeke purges the curse, visualizing the darkness leaving her body. He's determined to save her, but a voice mocks him. How can he save anyone when he failed his own mother? Zeke snaps his eyes open to a shadow looming behind Sarah. He freezes. It's his brother, Guilt. Shadow mocks Zeke's weakness, claiming his power belongs to someone more worthy. Haunted by the shadow, he'll kill Zeke for his power. He needs that treasure to bring back the dead. The hallucination grabs the boy, demanding his power and his life. Zickbrid knows it's an illusion, but he's suffocating. Seeing Sarah terrified, he endures the agony of breaking the curse, pushing forward for her sake. Zeke knows Guilt is stronger, but he refuses to lose. His magic is unrefined, but he'll do whatever it takes to save Sarah. Haunted by the past, he refuses to repeat history. This time, he's unstoppable. He shatters Gert's illusion. A white glow engulfs them, and Sarah wakes up in shock. Sarah's stunned Zeke tells her it's over and she's safe. Outside, Nikolai, his uncle, and their crew wait. He's still on edge, but Theo Turnstammen has something for him. She hands him flowers meant for syrup. She insists he give the flowers Nick's skeptical, but she guarantees Sura will love them. The door bursts open. Nikolai whirls around, gasping, but freezes in total shock. Sarah leaps from her uncle's office, proving she's spotless from head to toe. She spots the flowers and asks about them. Nikolai, still in shock, says they're for her. She grabs the pot, amazed he remembered her favorites. Sarah hugs the pot, calling Nikolai brother as his eyes widen in shock. Nick's overwhelmed seeing his sister finally cured. He pulls his sister into a tight hug, finally telling her he's happy. Zick peeks out, but his uncle stops him. This moment is too important to interrupt. He assures the kids Sarah will recover and Nikolai will have her back. Uncle asks if Z's okay after draining the curse. Z admits he's dizzy, but he pulled it off. Leaving his uncle's office, he clenches his fist, proud he finally faced his brother's shadow head-on. He's certain he'll never run away again. Uncle grabs Zeke's hand, problem solved. Now only the title ceremony remains. He says Diana's artifact is fixed and ready for return, then calls the boy over to finish their serious conversation. Zeke and his uncle meet Diana in her chambers. Her ears and tail are finally hidden, and Zeke's thrilled for her. Diana offers her heartfelt thanks, but the uncle brushes it off. Uncle invites Diana to his coronation. She's stunned, but he reveals Zeke is also on the guest list. Diana questions him, but he's just as clueless. Luckily, the boy has a plan to keep them safe. Uncle asks Zeke to marry Princess Diana, leaving them both completely stunned. On conferment day, rumors fly about Zeke Abel. He's engaged to Princess Diana of Estonia, despite never attending a ball. Will the mysterious couple actually show up? Finally, the Majesty family arrives. Zeke and Diana enter the title ceremony hall. The crowd stares as Diana's radiant aura commands the room. Zeke feels unworthy standing beside her, but he quickly steals his resolve. Ziggy saw it coming, but his uncle reveals the engagement is a total sham. Uncle's plan hides Diana from Tobias. She told Zeke the truth, marrying abroad costs her the crown. He praises DF's quick thinking and vows to announce their engagement at the title ceremony. Zika's stunned by his uncle's plan to shield the princess from Tobias, but Diana drops a bombshell she's getting engaged to the boy. She doubts her acting, but Zeke cuts her off, standing up to accept the lie to protect his friend. The princess is stunned by his tone. He's terrified of their fake engagement, but it's necessary to protect Dia. Uncle already announced the engagement. Certain they'd agree, he's hyped they're a perfect match, and the couple is all in. Princess asks if Zik's on board. He confirms he's fine, just lost in thought. He apologizes for stalling and vows not to fail, but Dia claims that's her line, questioning if she's truly ready. The Abels mingle as Nikolai asks to ditch his tie, but Theo shuts him down. He's her uncle's vassal and must stay professional. Nick relents, but he hates formal wear. He wants his dad's armor, but Theo says it looks great. Meanwhile, Frau cuddles Zeke's adorable friend. Frau praises the girl's dress and greets Zig's friend, eager to finally meet. She thanks him for his help in the labyrinth and offers to introduce him to everyone as a reward. Frau claims she telepathically alerted her uncle about the dungeon. The girl grills her on the link. She explains telepathy works through the Contract S power, while Haku tests the bracelet on his paw. Magic Cat loves his chic new robe and he's absolutely sparkling. Willie gives Zeke a protective talisman to keep Haku safe from villains. As Zeke thinks of his uncle, a mysterious voice calls out. Aunt Louise and Grandpa Herbert visit, shocked by Zeke's growth. He remembers them from infancy and greets them politely, impressing Louise with his manners. She's heard he's a pro mage and asks for a demo. He agrees to show off when the time comes. Diana, Estonia's third princess, steps forward and introduces herself, calling it an honor to finally meet. Diana begs for forgiveness, truly sorry for the trouble her country's uprising caused. Herbert tells the princess to look up. They know about the dungeon. Louise reassures her. They trust her, and blame her. Louise and Herbert apologize for forcing Diana to join, but the princess thanks them, vowing to never forget their kindness. The man asks about Gweltedcom, but his dad's letters went unanswered, and the son's been ghosted too. Willie asks if Gelt is a prisoner. Gil tried to reunite him with Leah for years, but the academy blocked every meeting to protect his studies. Dad says no, this was the boy's choice. After Leah's funeral, he swore he'd never return home. Theo and her sister can't find Gelt, even with magic. He's a special student, isolated from everyone else. Willie calls the academy shady bookworms, but the Crown Prince arrives to announce that magic talent makes enrollment mandatory. The prince reveals Zeke's headed there next to finally uncover the truth. Zeke greets the air, and it answers back. It's heard plenty about him from Willa Bald, leaving Zeke stunned. Magist's expression terrified Zek. The prince clearly knew more about him than he realized. The prince loves watching kids' expressions shift, so Willie tells him to stop bullying Zeke. The prince shuts down the academy talk and turns to Willie. The king is here, and it's time for the main character to take the stage. Uncle's ready, the prince approves, and the ceremony starts, but Zeke's mind is stuck on Gelt and the Magic Academy. Willie kneels before the throne as the king officially names him. Count praising his uncle's service to Magesta. The king charges him to lead with purpose, and Willie swears his eternal loyalty. Willie swears his oath, and the palace party erupts. Beside Princess Diana, Zeke realizes his family is elite. He's in the ceremony, but with zero experience, he's clueless and terrified of failing. The princess asks Zika to dance, reminding him it's the perfect cover for their mission, and Zika agrees she's right. He admits he's a trash dancer, fearing he'll embarrass Diana, but she shrugs it off. They're just kids, mistakes are allowed, and she's already used to the Diana reminds him he saved her in the dungeon, now it's her turn to help, and he accepts. Zeke shyly asks the princess to dance. She happily accepts, takes his hand, and they begin. Princeton and his partner spot the couple, and the whole crowd turns to stare. Mid-dance, Diana boosts Zeke's confidence. He tells her she outshines everyone in the room, and she thanks him. Zeke doubles down, saying her old look was better. Back in the dungeon, he couldn't have stopped staring. He loved how sweet she looked. Diana stumbled, panicking and apologizing. He smiled. The old Diana was back, and he'd never felt more at ease. Everyone was disgusted by her old look. But Zeke reminds her he's the one who likes her. He smiles, telling her she's better when she's real, and she beams back in silent thanks. Nearby, gossips whisper that a mere child couldn't lead a revolt, suspecting Prince Tobias slandered her. On the balcony, Willie tells Nikolai and Prince Majesta his oath is fulfilled. Nikolai warns him to watch his mouth, but the prince praises Willie for playing the perfect obedient knight. The heir plans to run the new Earl ragged once Estania is handled, leaving Willie begging for mercy. The Count kept his promise and asked Julius about the Estonia deal. Julius confirmed negotiations were already being drafted. Estonia's answer is, in Diana's crew is invited to negotiate, but the prince reveals one catch the Count is questioning. Majesta's heir demands the Abels enter Estonia's tournament to seal the deal, but Willie and Nikolai have their doubts. Julia demands an Abel join the tournament. No entry, no deal. Nikolai questions Estonia's terms, but Julius reminds him the Abel family knows this tournament inside out. Willie confirms they know the triennial tournament where global masters clash, and Abel heirs have proven their strength for generations. Nick planned to send Albert again, but recent events forced them to pull out. The Count notes others skipped the tournament too, then grills the prince about Lene and the Empire. Their goal was obvious, so he didn't want Al involved. But since he's traveling abroad, he still needs a reliable escort. Willie's stunned Albert became the Majesta heir's bodyguard years ago and got way too attached. The Count never thought the prince could make friends, but he's told to stay in. Nikolai interrupts the prince and Count to announce his departure. Willibald is skeptical, but Nikolai explains he's ditching Diana's guard duty to enter the tournament and expose Prince Tobias's schemes. Albert bursts onto the balcony, interrupting to tell his father to stop. Albert overheard them and claimed the tournament. Willie's shocked by his rare initiative. Al says he's protecting Zeke's fiancée, asking the trio if they've seen the couple together. He gushes over how Diana glows and how seeing them makes his heart flutter. Albert's done letting his dad do the heavy lifting. He's finally fighting for their future, while Willie asks Nikolai if he knew the engagement was a total sham. Julius warns Al this tournament is a death trap, but Al welcomes it as treasure guardians. It's the perfect stage to prove their family's true power. The prince gives up on stopping Al and sends him off, ordering Gilbert to stay behind and manage the estate. Insulted but understanding, Gil reluctantly agrees. Nikolai hands the tournament to Albert, who guarantees a total victory. At the Abel estate, Diana reveals they're heading to Estonia with Prince Julius and demands perfect preparation. Uncle Willie snaps his fingers, cutting her off to talk Estonia strategy. Before the plan, he voids their dungeon contract. Fake marriage or not, families shouldn't be bound by magic. The princess refuses to break the contract, insisting only family can know Zeke's secret, and her advisor quickly complies. The princess tells Willie it's unfair if only her contract breaks. The Count tells her to relax. Zeke's contract was a total fake. If the kid knew the truth, he never would have signed. Willie refuses the risky contract to save the boy, making the princess hate him. He jokes, "It's a shot to the heart." Willie starts the meeting, but Diana's advisor Powell interrupts. His son, Irmund, will help them in Estonia. He's crushing the rebellion and already knows the princess is innocent. The counselor's son, Irmund, rules the border and has the people's trust, but teaming up looks suspicious. Willie's shocked the son is actually fighting the rebellion. Proud of his son, the man says Princess Juliana will meet Diana at the border and invite Dea home. But the uncle objects, sensing a trap behind the friendly welcome. Willie warns that Prince Tobias hasn't changed. Even after Diana and Zeke's engagement and the princess losing her throne rights, Toby's attitude hasn't shifted at all. He argued Diana couldn't inherit the throne anyway, and the advisor agreed. Uncle says the first wife's son, Matthias, is next in line, but at 13, he's too young to rule. Willibald reveals Tobias, the concubine's son, was the heir until Matthias was born. Willie moves to Prince Elias, third in line. He's a concubine's son with no interest in the crown and zero support from the palace. The first princess married a count and lost her claim, making Diana fourth in line and Juliana, a concubine's daughter, fifth. Willie reveals the king is dying, leaving the beloved Princess Juliana in charge. If Estonia ditches tradition, she's guaranteed the throne. Uncle reveals Matthias is the new rifle king, while the king is ill. Tobias fights to reclaim the throne. Toby stole from the young heir. Juliana aims to crush tradition, and their chaos has neighboring nations. Zeke realizes Diana's being framed, but she warns they might expose her true identity. Willie warns this spells trouble. Estonia hates beastmen despite their divine origins. Then, Pal drops a dark secret. Diana demands the truth about her true form. Powell clenches his fists, wishing he'd taken this secret to his grave. Paul reveals Estonia was built by a divine beast and beastman, but 500 years ago, the royals betrayed them as an impure race. Divine beast records were banned as the royals buried their past, hiding the one secret Willibald's digging for. Powell reveals the true king is a shapeshifter, stunning the entire room. He revealed a buried secret only his family witnessed the heir's birth, and even other royals are forbidden from knowing. The king hid Diana's ears and locked her away, keeping her secret from the family and the public, but Paul reveals Count Tobias found out the truth. Uncle finally saw why Tobias is hunting the princess. She's the true heir to Estonia's throne. Paula agrees, noting the royals are raised to hate beastmen. Having lost his claim to the throne, he's too furious to leave Diana alone. The princess asks why she's special, so the bald man scours forbidden books, discovering an ancient tradition tied to the divine beast prophecy. The prophecy reveals the divine beast user is both a curse and a savior, the only one who can stop the catastrophe. Diana is left baffled by this contradiction. Paul warns that this person signals a disaster only he can stop, and the royal family must be ready to face it. Willie asks if this is the catastrophe. The man can't say for sure, but warns anything's possible. The princess spoke of the power to stop the catastrophe, but sadly, she never possessed it. She claims she has no special magic, asking what she's even supposed to do. Powell apologized for hiding the truth to protect her, and Dia thanked him for finally coming clean. The man's apology leaves the princess so confused, she just apologizes to everyone. The count questions their ambition and reassures the girl that anyone would be lost in her shoes. Willie kept muttering, sick of these gods and their constant riddles. Z asks what he said, but his uncle denies saying a word. Uncle calls it a day to let Diana cool off. Powell backs him, freeing the group to face the count alone. The princess and Z-Carp wait, gripped by worry. Diana's stressed and he gets it the treasure haunts him too. Now, he's desperate to find a way to help. Night falls over the majestic Magic Academy. A young mage fails another spell. Tossing the junk aside, a classmate interrupts with a summons. The Empire needs his mana to activate a device. He warns her genius is beyond the Empire's wildest dreams, so they'd better stay on her good side. The Empire needs a direct answer. Are you joining the experiment? Getting no answer, He jumps to a new experiment but bails again, admitting he has no clue what's going on in his own head. He heads back to his studies, telling them to hurry to the kingdom of Astana. Once alone with his experiment, the student reveals he only wants one thing. Inside the Able Estate Annex, Princess Diana scours the library for Estonia's history, but finds absolutely nothing. She can just sit idle, haunted by the prophecy. She knows she has to act. Fearing her birth was a curse, she questions why she even exists. She's terrified she'll cause the disaster and be powerless to stop it. The princess broods in the Able library, questioning her power and her next move. Emma peeks from the library as Zeke approaches, asking how Daya's doing. She tells him the prophecy crushed the princess, and every attempt to cheer Dia up has failed. Zeke reached out later, but the princess sounded lifeless and acted totally gloomy. Even Dia's maid can't get her to talk. Seeing her like this hurts, and he's determined to find a way to help. Emma wants to help Mrs. Diana, but has no plan. Zeke's surprised she cares so much, and Emma confirms it. She tells him she was a clumsy maid, but Diana always supported her. Their daily talks were the highlight of her life. She claims no one did more for her than Diana, who was far more than just a mistress. Emma breaks down, calling herself a useless maid for failing her mistress. But Zeke calms her, insisting they find a solution together. The maid claims she's just a cook, but the boy knows her food is elite, remembering how it wiped away his exhaustion back in the dungeon. The boy says this is it, but Emma's confused Zeke begs her to cook something tasty to help, insisting only she can do it. That night, Emma leads a confused Diana to the courtyard. When the princess questions the late hour, Emma says she'll see soon enough they've arrived. Diana finds a table of treats from Emma and Zika, where Zika's been waiting for the princess. Diana asks what's up. Zeke just wants tea, adding that Emma made the sweets. To please Mrs. Diana, the maid cooked her favorites, making them the most delicious meals on earth. Emma hoped the treats would cheer her up, leaving Diana stunned. Zeke launched the tea party just to get a word in. Remembering how sweets cheered her up in the dungeon, he offered Diana a seat, and she shyly accepted. The food's aroma calms the princess. She tells the young man she's okay, then explains to Emma. These sweets taste just like the palace treats that brightened her days. The princess adds she's still hit with warm nostalgia. Pal spots the trio still talking. Zeke tells the princess he gets her confusion. Diana's ashamed of her weakness. She sees no future and feels crushed by responsibility, unaware Paul is eavesdropping from the estate. The princess admits she's helpless and terrified, with no idea what to do next. Zeke calms her, claiming he and Diana are alike, then asks if she remembers the Able treasure. The treasure's secret was beyond his comprehension. Lost and confused, he never expected anyone to mess with his fate. Zeke claims he understands her feelings, leaving the princess baffled as he vows to shoulder the burden and protect everything he holds dear. To protect those he loves, he accepts his fate and vows to get stronger. Backed by his crew, Zeke flips this crisis into a win. He warns Diana the princess is behind it, but she's skeptical. He praises her kindness and spirit, telling her that mastering her hidden power will save the world and create a bright future. Z reassures her she's never alone, promising that even if she's scared, he and her allies will always protect her. The boy offers help, and Emma vows she and the Count will always have her back. Eavesdropping nearby, Powell smirks. Diana's confused but ready for disaster. She thought she was alone, but now she's got him, Emma, and Powell. Zeke agrees just like the dungeon, they'll survive this together. The princess vows to be more determined, finds her confidence, and asks Emma for help. Wait, let's make it even faster, vowing to stay. Diana asks Zeke for a minute, then returns, apologizing for the wait. He's stunned when she returns in that dress Mrs. Diana says it's a first, and he loves the look. Magic restores her ears and tail as she faces Zeke in Beastman form. Zeke's stunned as Diana admits she hates her look. She knows her ears and tail can stay hidden forever, and the fear keeps her glued to the mirror. Meeting him made her love her look. Now she's ready to show the world and won't back down, even if they reject her. The princess heads to Estonia to face her brother. She'll trust her power, and Zika vows to believe in her too. The boy smiles, praising her look. Powell and Emma emerge, with Powell joining in because he wanted to just stand by while she works. Balchmita's glad the princess is smiling again. Meeting Ziegbert in that dungeon was pure luck, and the maid agrees. Emma hands a stunned Powell leftover sweets she forgot earlier, telling him to eat up before they spoil, and finally relax. He couldn't believe he gave in, blaming his age. If Diana's strong, they must be too. He vowed to protect her at all costs. The Abels prepped hard for their journey to the kingdom of Estonia. At the capital, Zeke eyes the finished teleportation stone set for Estonia. Uncle Willie promises no dungeon mishaps this time, but Zeke's nervous gulp says it all. Gilbert tells Prince Julius the prototype teleport stone is set. Julius thanks him, leaving the final preparations in his hands. Gilbert understood, hoping the prep wasn't a waste. Twirling his brush, the prince agreed. Diana wonders how they'll arrive today until a boy rushes up, inviting her to the new teleportation stone launch. The princess joins Zeke, vowing she's ready for Estonia and won't lose heart again. The kid grabbed Diana's hand and rushed to the teleport stone, hyped for a new kingdom. The heroes use the teleport stone, warping to a forest clearing right outside Estonia. They reach the barrier, and Zeke's stunned by its massive scale. Prince Julius marvels at the tree Amarita warping them across nations from Majesta. But Willie asks why he isn't more shocked by the Countess' magic. Zeke worries about crossing borders, but the prince says the hero has tournament clearance, and the stones only hit preset markers. Julius claims their reputation lets them do anything, making the boy realize how terrifying the crown prince truly is. Powell tells Julius his son is coming, but they have to wait. Zik checks on a stranger sick from the teleport. He doesn't know the guy, but his outfit marks him as a... Marcus snaps, shouting, "It's not okay," and calling Zeke an able kid. The boy questions the stranger's mage robes, but the man fires back. Why is a local knight working for a foreign magic squad? Nauseous and weak, Zik tells him to quiet down. The Count creeps up from behind, mocking that the boy needs motivation to work. Willie spins around in shock. He defends his near-perfect teleportation to his uncle and dives into a report for Willie, leaving Zequa stunned by his sudden hustle. The Count brushes it off and dumps more work on him, but Diana interrupts, rushing to his side. Relieved he's safe, she greets him as Marcus begs forgiveness for the dungeon incident. Powell welcomes him back. Willie apologizes to Diana for the rough night, explaining he needs to win Prince Julius's trust. Zeke hears the plan and thanks Marcus for the help. Marcus thanked them, staying humble. Then, Pal's son finally arrived, apologizing for the delay. Landowner Edmund von Balschmiede arrives on Queen Juliana's orders to take them. Paul's thrilled his son is back, and Ed's relieved his father is healthy. Edmund's heart nearly stopped hearing. His father was a rebel, but he's relieved it's a lie. His dad thanks him for never losing faith. Julius rushes over, shocked by Edmund's arrival, and thanks him for coming. Ed bows to the prince, who returns the respect and praises his noble breeding. Julius stares at the massive barrier, stunned it covers the whole country, and asks Edmund if only Lynn and Estonia possess such power. The prince asks if this is the royal family's power. Balschmied Jr. confirms, but the prince presses for more. Edmund reveals the royals control the barrier, but human power isn't enough to sustain it. Rumors say it's actually fueled by a divine beast. Julius asks if the ancient divine beast still lives here, but Ed dismisses it as a rumor. Balschmade offers to show them inside the barrier as they walk. They all in, telling the senior they're counting on him. Nikolai's acting strange, making Theo worry. He claims he's never smelled that scent on him, leaving her totally baffled. At the Bauschmida estate, Julius settles the Majesta guests while a young boy rushes out to welcome his dad home. The prince smiles, warning Johann to stay quiet for their VIP guests, and the boy sheepishly apologizes. Zeke eyes Johann, intrigued to finally see someone smaller than himself. The boy beams and lunges for a hug. Diana catches him, but he stuns her, asking why she left the castle and if she's back to play. Diana returns from a long journey and asks to stay. Johann welcomes her, telling her she can stay forever. Zickbert asks about the boy. The princess reveals he visits the castle with Pound. Johann glares at Zeke, demanding his name and ordering him away while shielding the princess. Zickbert claims he's Daya's fiancé, but the boy snaps back, insisting he's her husband and calling him a liar. Diana blasts Johann for his attitude while the group watches Marcus is the only one clueless about their engagement, muttering in shock as these shorties seemingly mock the princess with wedding talk. Calm now! The boy spots Haku, gushes over the beautiful cat, and asks Diana if she's touched it. Princess tells Johann to stop, but Haku's in heaven from the squeeze. Washing his cat, Zeke fumes over Dea and Haku's betrayal. He forces himself to stay patient, playing the adult role to avoid snapping at a kid while cursing his uncle. At the mansion, Nikolai asks Zeke if the other shorty hurt him. Zeke denies it, but Emmy claims he's fine, as Diana's true partner only offending Zeke further. Marcus yanks Johann away, telling him to quit clinging to the princess. Johann demands release, claiming he's an aristocrat, but Marcus fires back. That status is no excuse for rudeness. The kid insults Marcus, telling him to back off while he stays glued to the princess. Still dangling Johann, the knight tells the maid to grab a book to calm him. She tries to answer, but Johann cuts her off, turning his focus to Diana. He asks about the maiden's promise to the White Wolf. The princess knows the Estonian legend, but she's never read it. The boy loves the story and offers to read it to Diana. Flustered, she double-checks he's reading to her. Marcus recaps the legend, annoying Johann with his knowledge. He's known the tale since childhood. A war birthed Estonia, and the divine beast sealed its power in a girl before. Diana weighed the divine beast's power as Marcus described the child of light, a golden-haired girl with a kind heart and iron will. Jan's still hyped, offering to read to the princess because he's so smart. She tries to speak, but Zeke interrupts. He wants to hear how the child of light saves. The princess listens, so a hyped Johann orders Marcus to carry him to the bookshelf. Marcus rages, calling him a shorty and threatening to drop him, but he still hauls the kid over. That night, Zeke lies with Haku, buzzing about his wild day. He'd never played with so many people before and had a total blast. Haku nodded and stretched out as Zeke promised they'd finally get some rest. Before bed, he replayed the legend of the girl and the white wolf. Every detail matched Camille's story perfectly. Fascinated by the jewel's divine force, the boy hunts for a lead on Dia's power until someone bursts in, shouting that Z had a blast today. Uncle Go! The kids settle in as he apologizes for the interruption. He's done with Edmund and wants to talk to Zeke. Zeke asks for the scoop, but it's just the same royal. Uncle mentions the divine beast. The boy asks if it's real, and Willie says it's possible, but no one's ever seen it. Uncle says the beast's tracks are everywhere, and Edmund warns everyone to stay alert. Zeke questioned fighting a divine beast. His uncle warned it was possible and to prepare, but if the royals are the enemy, they're totally outmatched. Willie suspects the Magic Academy, but the true enemy remains a mystery. Uncle warns if humans fail, they'll use non-human allies. Zeke questions it, but a voice behind him scares him stiff. The wind spirit Frau appears, and the boy recognizes her instantly. She tells him she'll always be wherever Willa Bald is. Uncle explains spirits share a bond before heading to Estonia. He had a spirit bless his ribbon. Spirits hate humans, making persuasion impossible. He hands the boy a ribbon, claiming it'll shield him from spirit magic if the divine beast is actually a spirit. Willibald reveals, the ribbon also blocks magic targeting the heart. Zik is stunned. This magic exists here, but his uncle explains normal mages can't use it. Every legend about Estonia's royals points to the same person. He made this backup tape to prove his theory. Since it's loaded with spirit magic, he has Zeke hide it with a concealment spell. Uncle says Zeke's concealment is flawless. Fruel grabs the boy, promising a reward to hide her, but Zeke just wants to be let go. Watching Frau play, Willie wonders if the spirit's blessing made him overcautious, but he stays ready for the worst. Morning hits and the guests depart. Johan and Diana promise to meet again, while Julius thanks Edmund, who insists he was just doing his duty. Edmund wishes the guests safe travels after a chat with Prince Julius, while Uncle checks everyone's luck charms. He orders the advance. Inside Estonia Palace, Princess Diana's procession enters as a mysterious stranger rises from the throne. The girl with Prince Tobias stunned the arriving procession. She says she's been dying for them to arrive. The stranger introduces herself as Juliana von Estonia, the second princess. The king is unavailable, so she's taking over as their host. The prince tries to introduce himself, but Tobias spots Diana and cuts him off with a shout. Furious, Prince Tobias accuses Diana of leading a rebellion and daring to show her face. Ignoring his servant's desperate pleas, Zeke recognizes Prince Tobias and seethes, but Diana blocks his path before he can snap. She swears to her brother she'll never turn her blade on her family or people. They're everything to her, and she knows they'll understand. Her brother snaps in disbelief, but Juliana shuts him down, saying she's sick of the family fighting. The second princess tells Tobias to cool off. He clicks his tongue and brushes past Diana, whispering that they aren't finished. He storms out claiming the throne. Juliana apologizes, blaming Toby's decade-long temper and preaching sibling unity. Uncle Willie asks if Tobias framed Diana for rebellion, but Juliana denies it and keeps the truth hidden. She claimed the beastmen were rebelling and mentioning Diana. The second princess dismissed the abnormals as liars, but her brother heard enough and flew into a rage. Uncle asks if the rebels are puppets. She agrees, but Dungeon Intel proves the accusations are fake. Juliana apologizes for Diana's ordeal, and her sister thanks her for the sympathy. Zeke's relieved Diana's safe, and Juliana seems like an ally. She asks the crowd about the Abel family joining the tournament. If the Abels win, Diana's cleared, and her engagement is official. Juliana knows the winner's word is law. Majesta's prince agrees, but Juliana's companion cuts in to ask if they're finished. Elias finished his question and finally demanded to be heard. Elias tells them to handle the Dia drama themselves. Juliana notes that's not very royal, but Elias shrugs. He's never cared for politics. He ditches the throne room, indifferent to who rules. He tells them to wait while he contacts his boss. Sensing their exhaustion, Juliana offers them housing near the castle. Once the guests leave, Prince Julius loses it. Willie finally gets why he stayed quiet. Julius tells his uncle obvious villains are boring, but things just got interesting. His uncle warns him to stay in check. Marcus snaps at him for mocking the crown. Nikolai questions his harsh tone, and Emmy trembles in fear. In the common room, Edmund admits Diana's speech was a total hit, praising her maturity and iron will. Zeke smiles, praising the princess for her sharp mind. Diana says it's because the boy is right next to her. Julius asks what Willie's eyes saw in the three, but he hadn't used them. Julius is stunned. His uncle usually scans suspects instantly. Uncle agreed they're worth a look. Sacred beasts and magic barriers guard this land. Use those eyes, and he's caught instantly, making the company public enemies. Willie doesn't get the barrier yet, so he's holding his judgment on the royals. Julia warns that reckless magic draws suspicion. He vows to be careful, but Zeke overhears and perks up. Zeke's invisible assistant asks if it's true, and he confirms the sacred beast barrier definitely has that power. The assistant warns Zeke to drop the judgmental gaze, and Zeke grabs his head, thankful he forgot. A young man interrupts the lounge, asking for a moment. Julius recognizes him and tries to speak, but the newcomer cuts him off. Matthias introduces himself as Estonia's prince and apologizes for his brother's rudeness. Majestia's prince shrugs it off, clearly amused. Matthias faces the guests. Julius warns the prince's presence complicates things, and Matthias agrees. Estonia's prince apologizes and clears the room, keeping only Julius, Siag, Albert, and Princess Diana. Siag asks why only he and Al stayed. Matthias explains Al's entering the tournament, and Siag is Dee's fiancé. Willie got his answers. He heads to the hotel to wait, leaving Julius with Zeke and Albert. Once they're alone, Prince Majesty asks Matthias what the talk is about. Asteria's prince shocks the room. Civil war is about to erupt. He orders them to quit the tournament, grab Dee, and retreat to Majesta. But Julius questions if the intel is legit. Matthias warns a devastated Dee that the king is dying, triggering a brutal throne war where Tobias will hunt his own siblings. Estonia's heir is rallying an army to fight his brother, but he begs to keep Dai out of the crossfire. He demands his sister return to Majesta. Zeke realizes the civil war is the predicted catastrophe. Diana interrupts, refusing to flee. She wants to abandon her people to a civil war, but Julius snaps that she's too weak to fight. Dee refuses to quit. She's here for power and her destiny, and she's not running. Her mind is made up. Matthias tries to dismiss her guards, calling this an Astanius problem, but Albert cuts her off. This is their mission, too. He claims the family can't ignore danger. Diana shyly asks about her status, while Julius says their justice is absolute. He'd rather walk away, but Matthias's intel changed everything. Julius claims the Majestia Magic Academy is behind it all, leaving Matthias completely baffled. The prince is here to clear Diana's name and handle the academy win the tournament, and Al enters as an honored guest. Julius warns that a leak would frame Majesto and spark a war. Matthias is stunned. Is that the only reason they reached teaming up? The prince makes no promises. They're just here for an academy check, and if they stop a civil war, Yulia's had nothing to do with it. Matthias respects Dee's reckless choice and puts his faith in Zeke. Diana thanks her brother. Estonia's prince warns Albert Tobias is plotting something at the tournament, so stay sharp.